Okay, it is 5:38. We will call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Garola,
Here.
Councilmember Peñalosa,
Present.
Councilmember Stowe,
Here.
Vice Mayor Reyes,
Here.
Mayor Flores.
Here. Let's all stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for an invocation or a moment of silence. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to lead us in an invocation? If not, would you please, you can come to the podium and lead us in an invocation.
We could all bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we just come before you to thank you for this opportunity to be here. Father God, to represent the city of Porterville, we ask that your blessing, your wisdom, your knowledge befall on each and every one of us, that we speak truthfully, openly, and honestly. And we thank you for all that you do. In Jesus' wonderful name we pray. Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. We will now go into oral communications. This is the opportunity to address the council on any matter of interest, whether on the agenda or not. Unless additional time is authorized by the council, all commentaries shall be limited to 3 minutes. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in oral communications? Do we have any electronic oral communications?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then we will now move on into the scheduled matter.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you very much for the council's time this evening as we schedule this meeting at the council's request as we proceed through the next step in the selection of those to be considered for an award of a city permit and negotiation on an agreement towards opening a cannabis dispensary. With us this evening is the city attorney remotely, and with that, I'll turn it over to Julia for the staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Lawless, Mayor, and members of the council. At its regular meeting on October 6th, the City Council authorized the scheduling of this meeting to conduct the interviews of qualifying RFP applicants. The council also authorized staff to coordinate with its ad hoc committee comprised of Vice Mayor Reyes and Councilmember Peñalosa in finalizing the interview process. Consequently, the following process was finalized and reviewed by and with input from the committee. The order of interviews should be chosen via a random method, for example, lottery system. Due to the pandemic, interviewees are permitted tonight, and in fact, we're encouraged to participate remotely via video conference. The number of interview participants is limited to not more than 3 people per application, and the backgrounds of the interviewees that are participating via video conference shall be plain with no promotional, branding, or advertisement for the company in the backdrop. The names of the teams moving forward to the interview process in alphabetical order are as follows: Bloom Farms, Cultural Cannabis Club, Element 7, Haven, Tule River Economic Development Corporation, and Uncle Green. For part 1 of the interview, applicants are expected to conduct a 15-minute uninterrupted narrated presentation. Presentations may include PowerPoint or similar formatted visual aids, which were required to be emailed to designated city staff by no later than 4 p.m. today. The visual aids and/or handouts are limited to a total of 3 pages and include a 1-page summary, executive summary, 2 pages of illustrations of the interior and exterior of the proposed business. It was requested that the applicants focus on the following elements: introduce the proposed business and explain the ownership structure, describe the primary qualities of their business brand, identify all local and non-local applicants, representatives, and managers, describe the qualities that set their business apart from the rest, describe professional qualifications of all local applicants, representatives, and managers, provide a 3-year pro forma or projection illustrating all projected startup and general operating costs, estimated gross revenues, and anticipated taxes to be generated, describe their approach to operating a safe and successful cannabis business in the city of Porterville, describe their understanding of the city's community benefits objectives, and outline their proposed community benefits offerings or ideas. Part 2 of the interview process will be 10 minutes will be then allotted to each applicant for the following questions from the council, which were provided to the applicants ahead of time. Applicants will have approximately 3 minutes to respond to each question. Number one, describe the applicants and local representatives' experience inside and outside the cannabis industry. What is your experience in the cannabis industry, and how do you and will you stay current and in compliance with all cannabis business legal requirements and avoid the corruption issues that have arisen in other jurisdictions? Number two, describe your prior experience with community benefits programs and detail any proposed volunteer services, in-kind donations, and/or charitable donations. And number three, if you commence business in the city, where do you see your business in 2 years and in 5 years in terms of economic development? This should take into account the possibility that there could be more competitors or permits granted in the city. The scoring of the interview will be done as follows. The city council is proposed to be done as follows. The city council previously determined that the council had a maximum of 25 points to award per applicant, and that each council member has up to 5 points that they may award for each presentation. So that's how that 25 points is divided up. The council may consider a proposed point scale based on the following, or may formulate an alternative basis for award deduction of points. But for an example, 1 to 2 points, for a granting of 1 to 2 points, the applicant failed to adequately respond to the council's questions. 3 to 4 points can be awarded where the applicant's response to council's questions met expectations. And 5 points can be awarded where the applicant's response to council's questions was exceptional and far exceeded expectations. The timing of the award of these points has also been discussed by the committee, with the committee recommending that each council member provide their individual score to me via email to the city attorney at the conclusion of the interviews and no later than a half hour after the end of tonight's meeting. So the recommendation is that the council determine the basis and timing for transmitting those interview scores, just to confirm that recommendation, or come up with an alternative one if they so choose. And then the second is, of course, to conduct the interviews of the qualifying applicants consistent with whatever with the direction that's been given so far and whatever direction is given tonight. And with that, I'd just ask if there's any questions or comments from the council. Thank you.
Does
Mayor, I do,
Okay, please go ahead.
if I may. I wish to disclose to the council and public that prior to the application period, Ms. Jovita Castañeda called me requesting if I'd meet with a potential cannabis operator. I informed her that that would be unethical for me to meet with anyone that is a potential cannabis operator. She was unaware of this, and that was the end of our conversation. I also wish for the council and public to know that I would only be basing my decisions on the strength of the applications and presentations.
Thank you very much for that disclosure. Does anyone else have any comments to make or any questions?
Yes, Your Honor, I would as well.
Please.
I would like to disclose that the meetings with applicants that I had during this last year and a half within applicants that made it through and applicants that didn't. So I want to disclose the companies as well as the owner's name. And I'm not going to disclose those owners' name of companies that didn't make it through because I don't know that information. So I have had meetings, phone calls with the company by the name of Bloom Farms, owner Darren Garrett, Culture Cannabis Club with Jovita and Christopher Francie. Those are the owners. I have also had conversations with Central California Cannabis with James Gregory Shelton. Also in addition to that, those that didn't make it through, I had conversations with folks from the Authentic Porterville Shrine Group. In addition to that, Token Farms and Valley Pure applicants, or non-applicant, they ended up not applying, but I still had conversations prior to the application period and as well. And so, yeah, I would just wanted to disclose that for the public to know. And in addition to that, I would like to add that I wrote it down here in my text message, have it here, that I will be basing all my decisions to the strength of the applications and presentations today. And also would like to disclose that one of the reasons why I have met with many of the applicants was because I initially The vice mayor, myself, staff visited Valley Pier. We were able to see it, get a sense of their full operation, meet with their managers as well very early on before we introduced resolutions to approve cannabis ordinance for the city. And so it was just fair, whoever reached out to me, that I would give them the time as well to be able to be fair in this whole process as well. So just wanted to disclose that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The disclosure is important for transparency.
All right, and while we're at it, I'd like to disclose that I had had previous conversations with Central California Cannabis, not really relating to any of the regulations, just general questions, and of course, none of that will influence any of my decisions as well. I had conversations previous to any real documentation or procedural decisions early on with TREDC at some point, but again, nothing definitive or with any detail oriented to any of my decisions, which will be solely based on all the applications and presentations that I see here today.
Thank you very much.
Your Honor, I did have a text, small brief conversation with an applicant, but he didn't make the cut, Mr. Sheldon, regarding his process after that was over. It was completed and done, and that was the only contact I've had regarding this.
Thank you very much. And just for transparency and disclosure, though I was not involved in any conversation whatsoever, Mr. Shelton did give me permission if I wanted to put political signage, but that's another point that I did not do it, and I didn't accept that, knowing with full knowledge that the applications would be coming forward. And full disclosure on behalf of all of council members is important for transparency, and that the applications that made it and that we will base the information on what is presented to us this evening. Is there anything else?
Yes, Mayor, I have one more
Please.
request. I'm requesting that the council consider adding the following questions, since applications were submitted prior to COVID. So as I was reviewing, I felt that we needed to at least ask this question. And that is, and I believe Mr. Lawless has given you a copy. Please identify what COVID measures your business will provide to protect the safety and health of your employees and customers. What control measures will be put in place to eliminate or reduce COVID exposures? I would ask the council to accept that as one of the questions for tonight.
Thank you.
I don't know whether we need to vote on that or not.
I think if everybody is amenable to it, I think you can do it by consensus.
All right, council, in acceptance of the additional question, what is the consensus with the yea or nay? Council member, please poll.
Councilmember Garola,
Yes.
Councilmember Peñalosa,
Yes.
Councilmember Stowe,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Reyes,
Yes.
Mayor Flores.
Yes. It has been accepted and it will be added to the process. Thank you.
Were all the other parts of the process amenable to the council?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it was for me, thank you.
Thank you. Well, my part is done.
Okay.
So we need to, I know that I would imagine staff is ready to do, select the order of interviews by lottery. So that'll be the next step. So I would actually throw it back to Mr. Lawless if possible.
Which, and I will, I'll defer to community development, Mr.
Oh, there we go.
Wagner. Yeah, so, and they will be selecting, I think, just by the name from the hat, who, the particular order that will come this evening.
Ms. Phillips is making the papers now.
You can just go ahead and select them one at a time if you want. It's up to you, but.
First one is Haven.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Haven. Number 2, Uncle Green. Number 3, Culture Cannabis Club. Number 4, Element 7. Number 5, TREDC. Number 6, Bloom.
Okay. Ms. Liu? Ms. Liu, legal counsel?
She's on mute. I don't know.
I just want to ask her questions so that we begin the process.
Julia?
Thank you. I have a question now as we begin the process for clarification with the order of Haven 1, Uncle Green 2, Culture Cannabis Club 3, Element 7 4, TREDC 5, and Bloom Farm 6. And as we unfold as the presentations begin, they will be providing us with the information that has already been sent to us? Yes. Okay. Then we will.
I guess what's your clarification on what's been sent to you?
Well, with what you presented here, For them to now
provide the presentation.
This is their part for the presentation. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, and then you can follow it up with the questions after that.
All right, thank you. So we will,
I
no,
have a question on that process.
oh, please ask. Let's ask now.
Yeah, there's 4 questions. How do we determine which council member will ask what question? We're not all going to ask the same question.
It's up to you guys. there's 4 questions and 5 council people, so, you know. If you want, you could try to split them up so that there's 5. See here.
Perhaps what we can do is that Mayor, maybe we can alternate since there's 6. One, you know, we'll ask.
I'm out. I'll just judge. I don't have to.
Oh, Milt's making it easy on you guys, and there's 4, so you guys can just alternate who does them.
Yes, because the questions are in the second half of the interview. The presentation is the first part, and they're presenting, and they're going to give it to us because they were given what they have to present to us. All right, we've got this. Thank you very much for being patient with us. This is a newness for all of us, all right? And we appreciate your patience with us as we venture into the interview. All right, we will begin with Haven.
So will the city be presenting the slides?
Yes, the city clerk has the slides, and I'll be bringing them up. Please let him know when you're ready to switch between the slides. They are in the order that you provided them.
Okay.
Okay.
Give us 1 second. I think having a little issues exiting full screen mode there. View options and then exit full screen mode. Sorry. Ready when you are.
Good evening. My name is Hussein Rayani, and I'm the owner of Haven Porterville. First, we would like to thank the city staff and the esteemed council members for your diligence in operating a smooth application process. Having participated in quite a few, Porterville has done an exceptional job. We are beyond thrilled to have the opportunity to bring Haven to the city and hope through this partnership one day to be selected as a Porterville Outstanding Business honoree. This evening, I'm joined by my operations team members, Michael Simonian, our CEO, and Mark Simonian, our COO. Haven's mission is simple. We aim to provide the most enjoyable cannabis buying experience through moments of authenticity, wellness, and discovery.
Good evening. I am Michael Simonian, Haven CEO. Haven currently owns and operates 5 adult and medical use cannabis retail stores in Southern California and will expand into San Bernardino next month. We have also been awarded 3 additional retail licenses within the state and intend to open each by mid-2021. Will you please show slide 2? We are known throughout the state for transforming properties from average to exceptional. Our proposed retail store will be located at 1 West Morton Avenue, a prime 3,750 square foot property where we have a commercial lease. As shown on the radius map provided in our application, this property is zoned appropriately and located nearly double the required distance away from any sensitive use, and is located around the corner from the Porterville Police Station. This location also boasts 20 on-site parking spaces with multiple entrances and exits. On the left, please see the building in its current state. On the right, please see our proposed changes to the building. As the original structure of the building is solid, we will be able to preserve it and only need to enhance its exterior appearance. Will you please go to slide 3? We designed the interior of all our locations in such a way as to provide a serene and welcoming shopping experience. We maximize security in our design, provide ample seating in the lobby, and offer an open retail sales floor. Our proposed floor plan includes a security entry reception check-in area, a large retail sales floor, an employee break room, a secured vault, a secured vendor transaction receiving area, additional storage for non-cannabis products, and ADA-compliant restroom facilities. On the interior, we incorporate the following elements: natural lighting, eco-friendly materials, neutral shades, high ceilings, and discrete security features. We truly see ourselves as part of the Porterville community and strive to be regarded as a resource for holistic health and opportunity. Will you please show slide 1? When it comes to cannabis retailers in today's legal market, Haven is known as an industry leader. Haven has achieved this status by possessing primary qualities which set us apart from our competition. Specifically, we understand our target audience and cater equally to men and women. We are passionate about cannabis and properly educating guests on its use. Haven is consistent across the brand. We understand competition and how to compete in a competitive market. Lastly, our leadership team has decades of experience and is involved in the day-to-day operation of each Haven location. which we will discuss shortly. To ensure the proper use of cannabis, Haven implements a 3-point education plan. We not only provide an incredible employee training program and continuing educational opportunities for our employees, but we also provide numerous educational opportunities for our guests and the community as a whole. We feel proper education ensures safe cannabis sales, use, and consumption, and we devote great resources to ensure implementation of our plan. Our guest specialists are always available to answer questions, review material, or recommend educational tools to community members seeking additional educational opportunities. Brand consistency is key. We have found that offering consistency across our brand has resulted in the development of a high level of trust, not only between local governments and our team, but also between our team and cannabis consumers. We pay close attention to our competition and constantly improve our business model to effectively compete. From targeted marketing campaigns to strengthening local ties to offering a large variety of products, we take competition head on. Additionally, Haven sets itself apart from its competitors by developing and implementing a strategic community integration plan. Having opened multiple dispensaries, we have the experience of knowing which strategies are effective and which are not. Our community integration plan is comprised of 3 parts: community relations, benefits, and partnerships. Our community relations plan is intended to build a line of open communication between Haven and members of the community. This plan includes a letter campaign, which we have already completed, door-to-door canvassing, hosting community meetings and open houses, conducting community surveys, issuing a monthly newsletter, and appointing a 24-hour community liaison to promptly field any complaints. Our community partnership plan is intended to build true partnerships between Haven and neighboring businesses, which in turn strengthens the local economy. The plan includes sourcing local services for our in-house needs and building business-to-business partnerships by offering discounts to our guests who have been a recent customer of a neighboring business. We will discuss in great detail our community benefit plan in just a moment.
Our organizational structure is simple. I've lived in Porterville for more than 30 years and own 100% of Haven, Porterville. I will work directly with Southern California-based experienced cannabis operators, SDM Management, LLC. This dream team has more than 40 collective years of cannabis retail experience, and I could not ask for a more experienced team as we embark on this new venture. The operation team will utilize their experience launching cannabis business in other cities to assist me in launching Haven in Porterville. Specifically, they will provide their most experienced team members to assist with the hiring of local residents, including managers, the thorough training of all employees, the development of relationships with licensed distributors, the navigation of the business and state licensing process, and the oversight of general business operations.
Good evening. I am Mark Smoonian, Haven CO. I'd like to share the professional qualifications of our team. Hussein, a Porterville College graduate, has been a resident and active community member in Porterville for more than 30 years. Through his time as an instructional supervisor for Porterville Sheltered Workshop, and through his experience as a 2-time local business owner, Rayani's Rentals and Daddy's Daycare, Hussein has fine-tuned his professional skills associated with numerous tasks, including overall business management, overseeing staff, increasing operational efficiency, modifying organizational structures, achieving compliance with local and state regulations, and providing excellent customer service. All of these professional qualities are integral in owning a retail cannabis business. Let me tell you about the professional qualifications of Haven's operational team, who will be working directly with the same. Michael, Haven's CEO, is a qualified cannabis business operator and has been hands-on in the operations of retail cannabis businesses since 2014. In this role, Michael has been responsible for overseeing and planning build-outs of new cannabis stores, communicating with planning and licensing departments, developing the employee training program, and overseeing the licensing and acquisition of cannabis businesses. I hold a BS and MS in electrical engineering from UC Davis, and after 7 years in Intel Corporation, I began my career in the cannabis industry, becoming the Chief Technology Officer of an award-winning cannabis brand. Today, I oversee over 80 employees, draft and update standard operating procedures, oversee all operations of each of the Haven's locations, and ensure 100% fully compliant, citation-free retail operations, which is no small feat. I intend to work closely with Hussein and the city to ensure that our newest location is also 100% fully compliant with all local and state regulations. We affiliate ourselves with the best and brightest in the industry. The additional members of our operations teams are each experts in their respective fields and possess the professional qualifications necessary to guarantee success.
As we have had substantial experience in taking retail cannabis businesses from the proposal stage to successfully operating, we were able to utilize data from our fully operational stores to thoughtfully inform our budget. Our startup budget includes $642,000 in covering costs associated with the architectural design, vaults, exterior facade, interior renovations, fixtures, and IT infrastructure and POS system. We expect to spend $347,000 on soft costs, including purchasing of the initial inventory and 3 months of operating costs. Lastly, we have budgeted $60,000 to cover legal, marketing, and consulting expenses. We conservatively estimate our gross revenue to be $2.25 million in the first year, $2.7 million in the second year, and $2.25 million in the third year. Based on these projections, the city will receive the following tax revenues: $102,000 in the first year, $123,000 in the second year, and $147,000 in the third year. Our operating costs range from $2.1 million in year 1 to $2.7 million in year 3. Due to the length of this presentation, we direct you to page 120 of our application for an exhaustive list. In general, operation costs include product, labor, benefits, rent, utilities, insurance, security, and community outreach. We have over $2.4 million cash available, as well as $2.7 million in real estate assets, which more than cover the expenses listed above and those identified on our pro forma.
Our approach to operating a safe and successful cannabis business includes prioritizing compliance, understanding the rigorous licensing process, and working with a team of seasoned cannabis industry professionals. To ensure that our cannabis business is operating safely, we rely on an ironclad security and safety plan and standard operating procedures that are reflective of industry best standards and practices. Our security plan was prepared by professional security consultant Terry Bleffens, and the comprehensive plan covers security personnel and guard services, video camera surveillance system, intrusion detection and alarm system, cash handling and transportation plan, inventory control and product security, ingress-egress access control, perimeter security, and extensive employee training. We implement security measures throughout the property. 25 cameras are positioned in such a way as to record all activity both inside and outside of the property, including all employee and customer-based areas. Our building is equipped with an alarm system, including door sensors, motion sensors, and panic buttons. We also utilize keypad access control devices, motion-activated lighting, and a TL30 rated high-security burglar and fire safe for product. We staff armed on-site security guards 24 hours a day. We also deploy a full safety plan, which was prepared by Robert Rowe, a former fire marshal, and certified professional engineer Ted Moyle. We draft and utilize SOPs for each component of our business to ensure safety and to optimize successful operations. You will find examples of all of our full SOPs in our application. All staff members have designated opening and closing duties that emphasize employee safety, inventory control, facility safety, and security. In compliance with city code, each guest seeking admittance will enter the lobby, which is separate from the secured sales floor, to ensure maximum safety and security. IDs will be physically checked by our receptionist using an ID scanner to help ensure guests are 21 years of age or older and are using a valid form of government-issued ID. Medical patients need only be 18 or over, but will also require a valid physician's recommendation, which will be authenticated with a recommending physician prior to admittance to the retail sales floor. Haven is successful in part because of the number, variety, and quality of the products we carry. All products sold must first pass Haven's rigorous inspection process, where we confirm compliant testing results and proper packaging in the label. Products that do not pass inspection are not sold, period. To maximize the safety of both staff and guests, we implement both product and cash handling procedures. As a safety measure, on the showroom floor, very little live product is displayed, but rather dummy packaging is used. Product is stored in the vault and released only upon purchase. Keeping tight control of our inventory prevents diversion and adds an extra level of security and safety to our business operations. Inventory is reconciled at least once every 14 days. As an additional safety measure, we minimize the amount of cash we accept and keep on site. Staff is trained to handle cash with extreme discretion. We believe the city's community benefits objective is to create a citywide community benefits plan funded by cannabis businesses through the use of the development agreement to provide funds for city-designated projects. Haven is experienced in negotiating DAs and has been entered into them in other jurisdictions. In our review of the draft DA, we recognize that the city's priority is to fund senior citizen programs, city beautification efforts, enforcement against illegal cannabis operators, public safety initiatives, housing programs, economic development opportunities, infrastructure, capital improvements, community events, supportive local services, and special social and community organizations. We are more than willing to enter into a DA with the city to further these goals. In addition to contributing to the city community benefits fund, we have prepared an internal community benefits plan to make an even greater impact. When drafting our community benefits plan, we conducted statistical research related to the demographics of the city to best identify meaningful ways to give. Our research identified several areas of concern which we hope to address as part of our own efforts. Specifically, we plan to assist with reducing poverty among women and children, reducing food insecurity, increasing economic development, providing for veterans and seniors, and improving the city infrastructure. We implement multiple methods of contribution as we believe there are several meaningful ways to contribute. Our methods include, first, providing employment opportunities to local residents. Haven will hire 100% local residents to fill each of our 17 available jobs, including management positions. We offer competitive wages and full benefits for all those employees. Second, we will conduct community outreach by attending, sponsoring, and hosting community events. Hussein is heavily involved with multiple Porterville youth sports programs already and will continue his involvement. Children involved in sports and extracurricular activities are less likely to become involved with gangs, drug abuse, and illegal activity. In addition, we will host community lectures and educational seminars in an effort to bring the community together. Third, we will contribute volunteer hours. Haven encourages employees to give of themselves through volunteer work. We offer all employees paid time off in order to volunteer with a local organization of their choosing. We also organize store-wide service projects to give back to the community while providing a team-building activity. Fourth, we will operate donation drives to gather in-kind donations. With the local poverty level so high, it is likely local families are struggling with food insecurity. To combat this very serious problem, Haven will commit to conducting semi-annual canned food drives at our storefront location. Finally, we will offer monetary donations. Haven was deeply saddened by the loss of Fire Captain Figueroa and Firefighter Jones, who lost their lives while fighting the city library fire in February of 2020. To that extent, a memorial fund has not been set up. We will set them up, and Haven will form a memorial fund in the names of those fallen firefighters. In addition to these examples, Haven is also committed to providing funding to the city to increase public safety, to aid in the enforcement against illegal cannabis operations, and to conduct capital improvements like revitalizing the downtown district. Through the joint efforts of Haven and the city, perhaps Porterville will be named as a San Joaquin Valley Blueprint Award winner for downtown revitalization in 2021. So that in a nutshell is Haven. We're now ready for your questions.
Thank you very much. All right, council. Councilmember Peñalosa, you asked the first question. Vice Mayor Reyes, the second. Councilmember Garola, you'll get to ask the third, and I'll get to ask the one that was added on. All right, let's begin.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So the first question for Haven is describe the applicant's, describe the applicants and local representatives' experience inside and outside the cannabis industry. What is your experience in the cannabis industry? And how do you and will you stay current and in compliance with all cannabis business legal requirements and avoid the corruption issues that have arisen in other jurisdictions?
Okay, Council Hussein here. I'll start again. I have 16 years of extensive experience owning and operating non-cannabis local business. I've managed all aspects of the day-to-day operations from accounting to HR to public relations. My residential rental company has provided affordable housing to local residents in need for years. Never before has there been a greater need for quality childcare than during the pandemic. Daddy's Daycare has supported working parents and children in the community. My only cannabis business experience is the experience I've gained working with Michael and Mark on this opportunity. But nonetheless, I am a skilled businessman. Just as cannabis involves strictly regulatory law, so does running a housing and childcare business. I'm no stranger to compliance. For years, I've been responsible to hire, train, and retain employees. I've developed a recruiting plan to attract the most qualified applicants and a retention plan focused on strategic employee training, which surely will assist with the hiring and training of staff for Haven. All of these skills are directly transferable to the operation of Haven in Porterville, my home. In addition, I have volunteered as a natural junior basketball coach, a basketball coach with Sequoia Middle School, a referee for men's and youth leagues, and have been a repeat sponsor with over $10,000 in donations to these causes. Additionally, I've donated food and drinks to the Porterville basketball program for 4 years. I look forward to continuing to contribute to my city. Mark, please touch on Michael and your experience again for the council.
Sure. Both Michael and I have years of experience operating cannabis businesses. We're hands-on operators and owners. By this, we mean that we are intimately involved in every aspect of our cannabis business. We do not simply pass off that responsibility to others. From preparing applications, drafting standard operating procedures, developing employee training and education programs, approving community benefit funds, and overseeing inventory management and control. Not a single element of the business operations occur without our oversight. We've transformed medical-only cannabis businesses to adult use, which requires an in-depth understanding of the legal requirements of California, as well as opening adult use dispensaries outright. We're both very excited to work with Hussein on this project, not only because he clearly has proven himself to be a valuable member of the community, but also a savvy businessman. His experience owning businesses in a regulated market like the childcare industry includes transferable skills to the cannabis industry. Where compliance is concerned, we utilize a full legal team. We have an in-house attorney, Greg Nachum, and a cannabis compliance attorney, Courtney Karen. Greg has been practicing law for 7 years. He oversees all of our business transactions and provides oversight of our licensing and applications. Greg works directly with Courtney, a former Tulare County resident, to ensure that our compliance is constantly under review. Courtney's legal practice is almost entirely focused on cannabis law. Together, our legal team revises standard operating procedures, conducts site visits, and oversees the marketing and advertising of Haven. Through our own experience and that provided by our legal team, we're confident in our ability to run a 100% fully compliant legal cannabis retail store in this city. Haven operates according to all local and state laws. This means we do not tolerate violence, gang activity, underage consumption, bribery, payouts, or any other unethical behaviors. We have not allowed corruption of any kind to infiltrate our current businesses and have no intention of allowing it here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 2?
Yes, thank you. Describe your prior experience with community benefits programs and detail any proposed volunteer services, in-kind donations, and/or charitable donations.
Sure. So in each city where we hold a license, we have a community benefit plan in place. This includes Long Beach, Maywood, San Bernardino, and Riverside County. We have plans prepared and ready for implementation for the city of Oxnard, Stanton, Fresno, Santa Barbara County, and of course, Porterville in the event you're offered a licensing opportunity here. Courtney, our compliance counsel, is a former Miss Tulare County and teacher. While not legal in nature, she assists us with forming and implementing meaningful community benefits plans and youth education and youth prevention plans. In forming our community benefit plan, we conduct research to identify nonprofit organizations, community events, and city initiatives that may be in need of support. Our research is organized into a yearly calendar where we typically promote one organization, event, or cause per month. As mentioned, we utilize multiple methods of contribution. To fund our plan, we set aside a predetermined percentage of our yearly gross revenue. Even in cities where we are asked to enter into a development agreement, we still push forward with our internal plan as a means of making a greater impact in the community. As mentioned previously, we believe that offering employment opportunities is the #1 way we can reduce poverty and improve economic development. We aim to offer team members a career, not simply a job. Our local recruitment plan includes building community partnerships by teaming up with organizations who work with the underserved populations. We plan to partner with services for education and employment, welfare to work programs, Porterville Adult School, Porterville Employment Connection, and Proteus Job Training Services. Our hope is to host training lectures, job fairs, and resume writing workshops. Haven is a proud supporter of senior centers statewide. Haven commits to organizing volunteer hours with the Porterville Senior Center. Whether assisting with Senior Day in the park or another noteworthy event, the city can count on Haven to staff volunteers. We're thrilled to see that the city honors veterans each November on Veterans Day. While a time-honored tradition of the city, Haven looks forward to participating in the first Porterville Veterans Day Parade, in its first Bandorama and Veterans Day Run and Walk. Haven is excited to contribute to all these events by honoring our veterans and bringing our community closer together. Food insecurity is also a real issue, especially in the past 8 months while many families struggle as a result of COVID-19. Haven can reduce food insecurity by volunteering in a food bank such as St. Anne's Food Pantry or Porterville Gleaning Seniors and conduct food drives to gather the necessary non-perishable goods to provide nourishment to those in need, as we have done in other cities. Teaming up with these 2 well-known organizations will provide an opportunity for Haven to reach more community members in need. We'd like to elaborate on an important benefit, our youth education and youth prevention plan. We've developed a full plan ready for implementation within the community, targeting the dangers of cannabis use by youth. Unlike other organizations, we are not simply providing funding for youth education while shifting the burden of presenting the programs to others. We are prepared and ready to partner with local nonprofits and educational institutions to prevent the program ourselves. At a high level, our plan addresses the issues faced by infants, children, adolescents, and young adults as a result of improper and early cannabis use. We provide strategies for parents and educators to educate youth about cannabis so they can make an informed decision not to use underage. Lastly, we understand not all needs will fit neatly into one of the categories we have described. No matter what the need, we are a resourceful company with the ability to plan, execute, and provide for the community. Our experience in this industry and with implementing community benefits plans makes us a perfect fit for Porterville. In conclusion, we want to ensure that the city understands we follow through with our promises. In In 2020 alone, we have engaged in numerous volunteer efforts, donation drives, fundraisers, and community service projects. Most recently, we donated 100 back-to-school home food box kits to community members in need and donated 100 headsets to low-income school-age children for use while distance learning. We look forward to implementing our community benefit plan in the city of Porterville. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Garola, number 3.
Good evening. If you commerce business in the city, where do you see your business in 2 years and in 5 years in terms of economic development? This should take into account the possibility that there could be more competitors and permits granted at the city.
Take this one. We have nearly 3 years of financial data to utilize in preparing projections for our projects. Many operators will inflate their numbers because they have either nothing from which to base them or because they wish to appear more impressive. Haven does not do that. Utilizing our success in similar markets, we developed our pro forma shown in our application based on revenues from actual stores. By the end of the second year, we project $2.7 million in gross revenue and $123,000 in tax revenue for the city. By the end of our fifth year, we estimate $3.5 million in gross revenue and $162,000 in tax revenue. This means we will experience 30% growth between the start of year 2 and the close of year 5. These numbers are conservative in nature. We feel confident that we can achieve the above projections because we have experienced similar growth in our other stores. While the market was constantly undergoing change due to new regulatory guidelines implemented between 2018 and 2020, competition has never been a problem for Haven. In Long Beach, we were one of the first stores to open, and since that point, nearly a dozen more have opened, but our numbers have continued to increase. We attribute this to the fact that we carry 130 different brands and over 1,000 different products, provide unparalleled customer service, offer a fantastic loyalty program, and build lasting relationships with our customers. We simply beat the competition by implementing strategies developed purely from our own experience and expertise in this market.
Council, we added the question, and we need to add at least 5 minutes permissible by council. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Okay. So they added 5 minutes with the extra question, so that, and I apologize. All right. Thank you. Please identify what COVID measures your business will provide to protect the safety and the health of your employees and customers. What control measures will be put in place to eliminate or reduce COVID exposures?
I'll take this as I was instrumental in implementing some of these strategies as we are already operating current cannabis retail locations and have been through the entire pandemic. We're implementing control measures to limit exposure already. We strictly follow the CDC, state, city, and OSHA COVID-19 guidelines. Specifically, all staff and customers are required to wear masks over their nose and mouth, and our employees also wear gloves. Sanitizer is available in multiple locations inside the store. We limit the number of customers who enter each store to ensure there is space for proper social distancing and utilize floor markers for proper spacing, as you've seen in other locations like in grocery stores. We offer curbside pickup as permitted by the BCC and the local cities, which limit the amount of people that are inside the store. We offer and encourage contactless payments. We also have all product deliveries are sanitized prior to being placed into our inventory. We maintain regular housekeeping practices, including routine cleaning and disinfecting of surfaces and equipment with Environmental Protection Agency approved cleaning chemicals. And this is done on a constant basis with all surfaces that are routinely used, like checkout stands. We do that after every single customer. We also encourage workers to report any safety and health concerns immediately. We train workers in proper hygiene practices and the use of workplace controls, like all those described above. And then all employees feeling ill are encouraged to stay home. We provide paid time off to ensure that everybody is able to stay employed and stay healthy. If there are no more questions, We thank you for your time today, and we sincerely hope that Haven will soon be joining the city of Porterville.
Well,
Thank
thank you, gentlemen. It was, like I said, this is a newness for all of us, and we appreciate you. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Council, let's keep the same number for the question so that we don't have to rotate that around and it'll expedite the process for us. We will now move on to the second one, which is Uncle Green.
Good afternoon, Council President and the member of the Council. Thank you for taking the time to allow us to speak with you today regarding Uncle Green Inc. Cannabis Retail Proposal. Uncle Green Inc. is locally owned corporation licensed by the City of Woodlake and the State of California for commercial cannabis production in indoor cultivation, manufacturing, and distribution. Our company is seeking a conditional use permit in the form of recreational cannabis retail operation within the jurisdiction of the City of Porterville. I am the applicant, the sole founder and CEO of the Uncle Green Inc. I received my bachelor degree in business commerce in 1995 from Premier College and attended additional business management courses at Wright College, Chicago, Morgan Community College, Colorado, California Baptist University, and the College of Sequoia, Visalia. I have over 13 years of retail management experience as a local business owner and operator of a spooky Halloween in the city of Porterville. Since 2008, I have managed Ali properties. I have owned and we have several commercial properties in the city of Porterville, including shopping centers and office buildings. Additionally, I own and manage 9 licensed cannabis operations in Woodlake, California, which includes 7 indoor cultivation licenses, 1 manufacturing license, 1 distribution license. Our operations have been licensed since 2018 and are among the first legally licensed cannabis business in the state of California. I can promise that the income we generate from our dispensary in Porterville will be reinvested back in the community of Porterville, in which we represent as a business owner, community member, supporter, and parents for the 30 days or 30 years. Again, thank you for giving us the time to, and now I would like to introduce our team, starting with Wendy Lee, who is a part of our legal council.
Good evening, members of the City Council and City staff. My name is Wendy Lay, and I am a senior attorney at Winter LLP, Counsel for Uncle Green. Our firm's partner, Todd Winter, and I have a combined 18 years of experience representing clients across all industry license types, including manufacturers, cultivators, retailers, distributors, and technology companies in the cannabis industry. We have assisted with the applications and compliance for over 65 permitted cannabis operations in California, large and small, and all are in good standing with the state and local authorities. Todd Winter is one of the original founding members of the National Cannabis Industry Association, or the NCIA, and is currently the Chair Emeritus of the NCIA's Manufactured Products Committee, which is focused on the standardization and safety of cannabis products nationwide. I'm happy to answer any questions related to compliance or regulatory aspects of this application. Now I'd like to introduce Daniel Garces, our Chief Operations Manager.
Hi, good evening, Council President and members of the Council. Thank you for taking the time to allow us to speak with you today regarding Uncle Green Inc.'s cannabis retail proposal. My name is Daniel Garces. I earned a bachelor's degree in business finance with an emphasis in capital budgeting from Humboldt State University in 2012. While attending HSU, I was given the opportunity to work in the quasi-legal cannabis industry as a cultivation director for farms that performed under Proposition 215, better known as the Compassionate Use Act of 1996. Through my 10-year career as a cultivator, I gained experience in site development, coordinating day-to-day operations to ensure the success of each farm. I established and maintained standard operating procedures, prepared planting forecasts and methods to ensure consistent crop yield, implemented employment policies for cultivation sites, managed inventory control, and worked with cross-functional teams throughout the supply chain. As adult use legalization became on the horizon in California, I shifted my focus towards business planning and risk assessment. I began studying compliance, insurance, portfolio management, and data analysis. In 2015, I received a property and casualty license by the Department of Insurance and quickly started to manage commercial insurance portfolios for licensed cannabis operators that were in need to meet state compliance standards, secure capital expenditure, protect employees, and manage operational risk effectively. 2017 and 2018, I began working as a compliance officer for Ag Dynamics, which is a compliance company that was developed to assist in the regulatory process for emerging cannabis businesses within the state. It was our duty to collaborate professionally with cross-functional agencies such as the Bureau of Cannabis Control, California Department of Food and Agriculture, Public Health, county and city planning departments, engineers, legal advisors, and business management services. And moving forward in regards to the company itself, Uncle Green Inc. Has several different primary qualities in regards to the business brand. For one, we believe that being minority-owned and woman-owned is quite significant in the industry. Of all the C-suite executive positions in the cannabis industry, about 27% are occupied by women, which is almost a 10% decrease from 4 years ago. Since 2016, Sabrina has worked tirelessly to set a standard for women and people of color in the cannabis industry. She's a catalyst for change and will continue to bring diversity, inclusion, and opportunity to the city of Porterville's cannabis industry. In addition to, we believe that a philosophy behind our brand is to create an in-depth focus on audience segmentation and contextual marketing. This really helps us to grow beyond the traditional use of cannabis as the context to engage with consumers, targeting a specific type of consumer base and on defined criteria such as efficacy, product use, demographics, communication behaviors, and media use, helps us to uncover insights about their needs. We really conduct in-depth research about our target audience to improve the quality of our content that we are producing, which could be education, marketing, and branding, and helps us to communicate, with our base in a way that can directly appeal to their needs, which in turn creates us to have an opportunity to create a strong human connection between our business and our community members. In addition to that, we are a focused company that is vertically integrated, and one advantage for us to be vertically integrated is the access that we have as producers to the consumers. We certainly can build stronger relationships with patients and consumers at the retail level, giving us greater insight into their preferences and ultimately driving innovation on the production side, creating consistency within the product and really continuing to strengthen our consumer sentiment. Vertical integration also benefits our organization by allowing us to control the development and production of our cannabis products, reduce costs through economies of scale, and improve efficiencies. We can increase our competitiveness by getting the products to consumers directly, quickly, and consistently, and think most importantly, being cost effective for our consumers. Additional to our brand recognition, we take a science-based approach in the grow facility. We start with an understanding that scientific research and data analysis on cannabinoid use continues to prove the therapeutic potential that is widespread amongst the phytocannabinoids such as THC and CBD that have been studied to date, and that allows for more Americans to find cannabis products as the single most effective therapeutic alternative to today's Western medicine. There is an extensive amount of therapeutic potential for scientists and producers like us to study and help further elucidate which of those compounds are most effective for different ailments. We want to be able to offer products to the city of Porterville and beyond that support specific health and equity and individual needs, and that's a big deal for us. And to add to that a little bit, in 2012, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency reported that the Central Valley residents are more likely to either suffer or die from chronic disease than people elsewhere in California. And reasons for that the health experts say is, the toxic stew that exists, bad air, foul water, poverty, unsafe places to play, and food deserts that exist throughout the whole San Joaquin Valley. The pesticide use that goes on with traditional ag places about 1 million people in the valley at high risk for these illnesses. And we believe that the cannabis and the science-backed research that's going on is bringing into a light that this is an actual effective product. We're not just selling cannabis. We are actually being able to now educate alongside of the products that we offer. Some of the qualities that our business has to bring to the city of Porterville are our product differentiation. Again, just adding to what was stated earlier, we do realize that the scope of the consumer demographics in the cannabis industry are quite diverse. And so customer preference is important for us to understand and define through the product offerings to meet their needs. We believe that customer service is a huge pillar of success for any cannabis business. Employing knowledgeable and engaged staff is key. Retail staff plays a central role in developing an in-store experience, and that leaves a positive impression and earns consumer sentiment and sustains long-term relationships that our members believe in. For us to build and retain that qualified staff, we will offer incentive programs that are education-based. Uncle Green will offer a paid-for course of study regarding cannabis healthcare and medicine through the University of San Diego. That's not the only option out there, but that is one that we foresee to be most significant to someone's understanding of the product that they're actually engaging with while speaking with the consumer that's in front of them. Our loyalty programs that we're focusing on have to do with cannabis businesses and, the type of business that rewards repeat customers. We offer deals, weekly deals, increase traffic, and develop name recognition. Loyalty programs can, take many forms, such as buy one, get one free, or discounted products. We're also considering care packages for veterans and the terminally ill. Store credit would be commensurate with purchase amounts, and exclusive access to top shelf or high demand products, and opportunities to meet producers. And then last, we would also provide birthday surprises to our members of the cannabis dispensary. Furthermore, education, providing the effective cannabis education to our patients, customers, and the greater community is a priority for us. We will proactively create education opportunities for interested members of our community. Our company will hold free educational workshops each month and be an active voice in the community to affect significant change in the perceptions people have about the therapeutic value and use of cannabis. We intend to have multiple sales channels, and with that, our members are able to order products easily and efficiently. Many customers still appreciate the internal consult with the product coordinator, but there are many people that actually know what they want and seek that through pickup or delivery purchase methods, and so we will implement that. We realize that people lead busy lives and are accustomed to being able to access products and services quickly in traditional industry, and so cannabis should be the same. And going on forward into the operations of a safe and successful cannabis business in the city of Porterville, we do believe that health and safety are vital to ensuring our business can run smoothly and to make sure employees as well as customers are protected from unlawful practices that can cause injury or even death. The security measures that Uncle Green has implemented have been selected by Advanced Security Concepts for its proven ability to maintain effective security systems and procedures that meet local and state compliance standards of our highly regulated adult use market. All areas in which cash and cannabis manufactured products would be stored and are fully covered under video surveillance. Furthermore, the facility is equipped and advanced with access control features restricting access onto the premises and into the facility and between compartments. Security measures as a whole would include a central alarm station that's attached to all windows and doors, a buzz-in door system, a panic button in the event of emergency, biometric locks and key card entry points on all entry points, secure storage vaults that adhere to DEA requirements, adequate perimeter lighting that is motion censored, and the surveillance system that would run interior, exterior of the building that local law enforcement can actually tap into and monitor. And last but definitely not least, we will have armed security personnel during the hours of operation and an hour after close on site. And then really significantly important as well is distribution. And so to run a smooth distribution channel and have product serviced and also received efficiently and safely, we do have an area of our facility where it's enclosed by a gate that the vehicles can drive, our vendor vehicles can drive into, and we can conduct distribution services as necessary. Employees will be trained on standard operating procedures respective to the situation.
Excuse me, but the time is up for this part of this process. We're going to now move into the interview process.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's begin with the questions.
Alrighty, the first question for Uncle Green. Describe the applicants and your local representatives' experience inside and outside the cannabis industry. What is your experience in the cannabis industry, and how do you and will you stay current and in compliance with all cannabis business legal requirements and avoid the corruption issues that have arisen in other jurisdictions?
As previously mentioned, Uncle Green owns and manages 9 licensed cannabis operations in Tule County. We have relied and will rely heavily on our legal counsel at Winter LLP to ensure that all business operations are compliant with both local and state regulations. We take our roles as representative of legal cannabis industry very seriously and believe that hard work, accountability, and transparency is the only way to ensure continuity in this industry. Involvement with illegal or unlawful cannabis business could jeopardize all of our 9 other existing operations, something we are not willing to risk. We understand that it is our responsibility to operate a legal business because if we do not, all of our employees and City of Porterville will suffer consequences. Since this is a new industry, we know that rules and regulations are constantly changing. Our legal counsel specializes in this industry and will keep us informed that up to date of all changing and new regulations. Additionally, I will serve as an Uncle Green community relation employee whose job will be to answer questions and concerns from city staff and the resident of Porterville. We want our neighbor to feel safe and secure with our retail operation. Local law enforcement and all neighbors within 100 feet of our premises location will be provided with my name and contact information to notify if there are any problem or concern. Upon request, Portable Police or any agent and employees of the city will be given unrestricted access to the facility for the purpose of determining compliance with state and local regulation.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Okay. Please describe your prior experience with community benefits programs and detail any proposed volunteer services, in-kind donations, and/or charitable donations.
We currently donate every month to St. Jude Hospital. We also donate about 12% of our annual income to our church. We are dedicated to helping the disadvantaged in our community by putting our money where our mouth is. If selected for a retail license, donate 2% of first hand Porterville and organization providing hot meal for those. We will local substance abuse in Porterville and to cause the other. effect will occur every last Sunday and include but is not limited cost cannabis product to qualify customers who are cancer patients, veterans, and low-income members. Since I teach students at my church, we are committed to reaching out to youth organizations and other institutions to develop public education plan related to drugs and drug addiction for youth in Portugal. Our education outreach coordinator will offer drug education for teen curriculum in partnership with Drug Policy Alliance to high school, which provide teenagers with honest and scientifically accurate information about drugs and marijuana and empower them to reduce drug-related harm. Being a woman-owned business, we seek to empower other women and minorities to follow their dreams and open local businesses in Porterville as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Garola?
If you commence business in the city, where do you see your business in 2 years and in 5 years in terms of economic development? This should take into account the possibility that there could be more competitors and permits granted in the city.
If Uncle Green is granted a permit by city, we will work toward vertical integration so that we are completely integrated within 2 years. This will allow us to provide high quality products at the cost due to manufacturing, distribution, and retail processes. Everything from up Portland. Additionally, we will work towards promoting environmentally sustainable, responsibly sourced cannabis products. We want to work with environmentally friendly business practices such as implementing auction and recycling program for material and supplies. Since we will have full control of product from seed to sale, we will be able to ensure that each part of the process conforms to our high quality and production standards. As long-term resident of Porterville and business owner in Porterville, we believe that staying local is the key to success. Our children were born in Porterville, our relatives live in Porterville, we have multiple business in Porterville, and we have lived in Tulare County for the past 20 years. We believe this sets us apart from most, if not all of the other competitors here today and make us invested in not only this business, but future of Porterville. Similarly, in 5 years, we believe we will continue to work towards streamlining our integration processes by cutting costs and giving more back to the community of Porterville and Tulare County. We want to reinvest in the professional development and training of our employees to uphold a standard of excellent customer service and provide customer with comprehensive product knowledge. Our human resource is the most valuable resource, and we will have advancement opportunity for all employees, pay raises commensurate with experience attained. We hope in 5 years that Uncle Green, Porterville, and Tulare County will be recognized statewide for its excellence in customer service, sustainability, and product quality. We are confident that our local women-owned cannabis operation will set us apart from all others. Thank you so much for your time today, and we hope that you will allow us the opportunity to continue to support and serve the community of Porterville. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the one more question that was added on. Please identify what COVID measures your business will provide to protect the safety and health of your employees and customers. What control measures will be put in place to eliminate or reduce COVID exposures?
As far as COVID-19 safety precaution, the safety and well-being of the community is our main concern. This pandemic has altered our daily lives greatly. However, it is important to embrace new normal. Each customer and employee will have access to sanitary items such as masks, disinfectant, as well as hand sanitizers. Moreover, social distancing will be enforced throughout the premises. Since this situation is completely unknown, when it comes to the modern era, we will continue to adopt future guidelines provided by EDC in the future. Due to our vast experience in several local retail businesses, we have been able to handle our services with grace and the utmost safety for both customers and employees throughout this pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. It is appreciated, and we will now move on with the Culture Cannabis Club.
Hello there, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Just making sure. All right. Good evening, council members, city manager, city staff, and Julie Phillips, who has been extremely helpful and responsive through this entire proposal process. We commend the city for being transparent and diligent thus far. We know this is a new venture, and city staff has never dealt with this before. My name is Devin Julian, and I will be the Chief Operating Officer if awarded a license in the city of Porterville. I've consulted with Chris Francie, our CEO of Culture, for close to 2 years, now on all the retail chain operations, as well as all the vertically integrated operations such as cultivation, manufacturing, and distribution. I've played a major part in getting the Culture brand developed. I've been involved in the cannabis industry since 2007, focused on branding, sales, compliance, product sourcing, and employee training. I previously managed multiple Proposition 215 California medical marijuana compliant cultivation operations for medical patients suffering from qualifying conditions. Some of my responsibilities include oversight of total cultivation operations, product quality control, negotiating distribution agreements, and retail relationships. I originally joined the Culture family in 2019 as a trusted business consultant. Today, with Culture, I'm proud to take on the role of Chief Operating Officer of the organization to offer my compliance, operations, and overall industry experience. I focus on scaling California operations by managing an experienced team of hardworking professionals and set ambitious goals for the Culture team to get every newly licensed retail store open in 6 to 9 months. In addition, I have my degree from Arizona State University in technological entrepreneurship and management. I also have 15 years of experience scaling small businesses in multiple industries, such as real estate, software, telecommunications, sales, and others. And I have 12 years within the cannabis industry. I am focused on regulatory compliance oversight and overall company operations. Our CEO is Chris Francie. He is an owner of the enterprise. Chris has owned and operated 4 retail stores in California since 2015 and has several more stores slated to open by the end of this year and early next. He brings capital to fund the majority of the expenses of our projects, and we are a fast-to-market team, meaning once we are awarded the license, we can work very quickly to get drawings into the building and planning department, get through our tenant improvements as quickly as possible, and have the store up and running in less than 1 year. For those of you who don't know, that's very quick in the cannabis industry. Chris can also boast a proven record of compliance with no citations and no complaints in any of his current operations. They are safe, well-maintained, and have a team of owners and staff that are always looking for ways to make a difference in the community. The proposal is to build Culture Cannabis Club branded retail store at 230 North Main Street. Our ownership has long experience operating cannabis business in California. Between us, we have operated 5 Southern California cannabis retail stores to date. 4 of them Chris owns under different brand names. One of them is Culture Cannabis Club of Long Beach, of which I am the COO. We have several other licensed stores in various post-licensing phases. The brand we represent today is growing and gaining momentum at a serious mainstay in the California market, and we are excited to extend our reach to Porterville. As I present to you our Culture brand and show you some renders of our proposed location, I would like the council to take note that in the past 6 months, since we've submitted the proposal, we have done a rebrand of the aesthetics from the logo, signage, and the color scheme to really narrow down our company philosophy, mission, and goals. So the pictures may differ slightly from what you see in the proposal, but that's because we are pushing a bigger and better brand. This is a demonstration of how our team has exponentially grown, our brand has grown, gaining recognition, and we have a strong corporate team of professionals behind us assisting with keeping each culture location on track to become a mainstay and benefit for the cities in which we operate, including Porterville. The unit we plan to operate is 230 Main Street, which is owned by our majority stakeholder, Jovita Castaneda, whom I'd like to take a moment to introduce. Many of you know Jovita from her work in the city. She lived in Porterville since 1989. When we met Jovita, we saw a big heart this woman has, her capacity to thrive and make a difference, and look forward to following her lead in the care of Porterville. For those of you who don't know Jovita, you will soon. She operates Jovita Business Center and Franklin Clo. She owns 2 commercial buildings in the city, and she has dedicated over 30 years of her accountant's profession to the community of Porterville, providing tax preparation services, educating the community in yearly IRS laws and regulations, and providing public notary services. She also had a public television show host for 10 years and spent over 1,000 hours hosting and coordinating material for her shows. Jovita has become a rock for the city. Many city leaders came to Jovita for help, whether it's for a food program for the needy, a space in one of her buildings, or assistance with another community project. When they ask, Jovita says yes. She loves being involved. She maintains her buildings, and she recently is funding the installation of a new street light on North Main. We're very excited to partner with her and build a culture store in her building. What does our brand culture represent? Culture is a way of doing business. It's a way of serving customers. It's a way of educating and normalizing safe cannabis consumption. Culture's plan demonstrates how culture lives, breathes, and emanates its culture ethos as a mindful operator with social equity and community service as its priorities. Besides extensive years of legal cannabis experience, Culture of Porterville is a woman-owned, locally owned enterprise. This puts culture in the position to really thrive in Porterville and benefit the city the most. Our ownership team is comprised of Jovita and myself, and Chris Francie as equity owners, and myself as the chief operating officer. We have a team of professionals behind us that help us, including relationships with key distributors across the state. We work with Green Rocket to stock most of our operations and therefore get wholesale prices that increase our bottom line. Also behind us are consultants Christina D'Angelo and Macy Newell, with a combined 10 years of experience in regulatory compliance, real estate acquisition, new market growth, and expansion. We all work closely to get operations up and running fast, and then maintaining safe and compliant day-to-day operations. What sets us apart from other applications, as I've already stated, Jovita sets us apart. She takes care of Porterville, she embodies the culture ethos, and that is why we are happy to partner with her. She owns the building that we are located on in North Main Street, in the most desirable area for city's cannabis businesses. Owning the building is a huge advantage. It helps us not only control costs, but we're set up for stability and longevity. The 4,100 square foot footprint will make for a vibrant, comfortable experience with ample parking in the rear of the building. Could the controller please move to slide 2? We're sensitive that every community has its own unique culture, desires, needs, and aesthetics. We shift our directives as the community grows and infrastructure expands. The building aesthetic fits into the surrounding street and neighborhood. The retail store is comfortable and familiar place to our customers. Products are procured specially at the request of customers, and culture partners with other non-cannabis businesses and vendors to boost the local economy and utilize our neighbors for their expertise. And following with the company's mission, culture runs compliant, safe, and profitable operations that contribute valuable tax dollars to enhance the city and enrich the lives of Porterville residents. Culture incorporates a unique retail concept, as you can see on the screen, utilizing touchscreen technology. This system assists with customer education on product types, uses, cannabinoid concentration, flavors, and brands. The technology also helps expedite the ordering process for customers to easily make their product selection on the user-friendly touchscreens and then proceed to a point-of-sale station to pay and receive their order from a sales representative. We're currently using this system in our operations, and people love and appreciate it. In addition, it helps medical patients choose their products in a low-pressure environment without having to disclose conditions to our sales representatives. Additionally, we are fully transparent. Not only does Jovita have extensive business planning and accountant experience, we have a team of CPAs and approved cannabis banking that audits every aspect of the business. Next, we focus on 100% local hiring. The reality is we want our staff to live and work in Porterville or immediately adjacent cities. This aligns with our culture ethos. Our people love what they do, and they are connected to their community. We get operations rolling by shifting around regional managers to staff and train, and work and transition them away, giving 100% local hires by year 2. All of our culture stores partner with the UFCW labor union, and we are working with them on a company-wide collective bargaining agreement for all locations. We offer competitive wages, a robust benefits package that includes paid leave, retirement, health insurance, and we offer student grants for continuing education, both in and outside of the cannabis industry. Culture has an inclusive philosophy. We prioritize the social equity issues that are evident and often ignored. This includes preference in social equity hiring, setting up incubation programs for small business owners, and working with local defenders to identify cannabis offenses and expunge them. We are fast to market. We have the money and don't waste time. We get the permit and move through the next steps ASAP. We can evidence this through 10 plus other sites for retail and cultivation that are being built currently. Our superior retail design, we have received amazing feedback from our branded culture design throughout all of our stores. At our current locations, our customers really feel like they're walking into a 5-star spa, and they receive that treatment throughout their entire purchase experience. Our sales team is knowledgeable, and our management is diligent. Take a look at what we propose. These renders get it on paper, but the true experience can be felt when you visit the site. And we invite anybody who has time to come down to Southern California and spend some time with us in the store. You could switch to slide 3, please. At the Porterville store, we project $7.1 to $7.3 million in product sales for year 1 through 3. We project the startup cost for our 4,100 square foot tenant improvements to be approximately $500,000 to build out the high-tech branded store, with an additional $250,000 to purchase startup inventory and begin operations. The tax rate will be determined by the outcome of tax measure R on the November ballot, and whether the business will contribute 10% of gross sales or the $25 per square foot in tax. With quick math, you can see the potential receipts to the city. Additionally, culture always pledges at least 2% of sales to the city's public benefit program, which can be utilized by various programs, donations to nonprofits. To approach safe and successful cannabis business in the city, culture adheres strictly to all city and state cannabis and non-cannabis licensing regulatory guidelines. The following is a snapshot of our operating procedures for which we focus on for our retail operations, and we have over 200 pages of written procedures. We focus on transparency, community outreach, education, transactional security, cash handling, inventory reconciliation, odor control systems, good neighbor policy, including posting our phone number on the outside of the business so people do not have to come in if they have a comment about the operation, marketing, quality control, child-proof exit bags, environmentally conscious business model, fire protection and life safety training, and compliant packaging. It is our understanding of the city's community benefits objectives that Jovita can help us with. We can reach more. The business, the revenue we bring in, that brings us the money to realize so much more in the city. Jovita and her peers have struggled to make some of these things happen, and we're happy to help her implement some of these. Up a committee called Culture Cares Committee, consisting of 4 people. 2 people from our team, including Jovita, and a minimum of 2 people from the community. Together, we sit down and take a look at how we can allocate the culture community fund set aside, which equals 2% of our gross receipts. We're incredibly lucky to have found Fernando Serrano and his team of volunteers at the local food bank. They help underserved by providing basic foodstuffs, including preparing around 2,000 food boxes a month, and which is quite an accomplishment. But they need help. We would like to help move to a bigger space. Jovita has a 6,000 square foot building that we would like to use with Fernando's group so they can have the space they need. We will help provide refrigeration. Right now, they're currently storing perishables like fresh food in a small air-conditioned space that Jovita has provided in one of her buildings. We can use funds to buy transportation, buy necessities like tables and trolleys, and provide incentives for the very hardworking volunteers of Fernando. He's also launching a project that has us excited. Through the COVID vaccine, he has created a team of teachers and tutors to reach out to children who have been left behind on the online schooling program. Kids who can't keep up, maybe this method of learning does not work for them. We will make sure that we use our resources to help them with computers, laptops, or any other way we can get the kids the education they deserve.
Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to part 2 of the interview. Councilmember Peñalosa.
Okay, I will ask the first question for the applicants. Describe the applicants and local representatives' experience inside and outside the cannabis industry. What is your experience in the cannabis industry, and how do you and will you stay current and in compliance with all cannabis business legal requirements and avoid the corruption issues that have arisen in other jurisdictions?
Of course, thank you. So throughout the presentation, I had explained that Chris has been experienced in the cannabis industry and outside of the cannabis industry and business for quite some time. Chris and myself bring about 15 years of combined experience within the regulated cannabis markets. In addition, Jovita brings the Porterville local experience, including accounting, and help with the general business operations. In addition, we will make sure that we have transparency with all city staff, the local police, state officials, and any others that wish to come and audit any of our processes. We also have multiple levels of auditing. Financial auditing by a third-party banking partner. In order to get banking, we're required to do an audit on a monthly, quarterly, and yearly basis with full transparency into our point-of-sale system and our QuickBooks accounting software. In addition to this, the state requires that we use a track and trace system with Metric, which we use a POS called Trees. In addition, we have internal financial audits done monthly, quarterly, and yearly. We have weekly inventory audits in store and random procedural audits done by our head of compliance. In addition, we have daily staff training sessions, making sure we're aware of compliance concerns, new compliance requirements, product knowledge, and it generally helps maintain a positive family environment within our staff. We have a legal compliance team that stays up to date on regulations and ensures communication with all employees, implementation of the new regulations, and follow-up audits to maintain the compliance. We also partner with the local police department regularly to maintain a relationship with them for safety and security, as well as offer 24-hour access to all of our camera footage, including the 90-day recorded footage from the past, should they so choose. And generally, it's just not worth it to get involved in any of the issues that have been arisen within other towns. So it's just not worth it. Cannabis, as with all business, relationships and reputation are just too important. If we risk our reputation, one of our licenses, or compliance, we risk our entire business, which would impact our employees, customers, patients, and the communities that we serve.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Please describe your prior experience with community benefits programs and detail any proposed volunteer services, in-kind donations, and/or charitable donations.
So as mentioned, Jovita is currently giving space to the local food bank with commitments for more space in another commercial building. Jovita is offering a property, one of her other properties in the mountains for youth retreats. and many other programs that she's been involved with in her 30 years. Some of these efforts can be found on social media for our culture brand. Some of them include a beach cleanup we just completed in the city of Long Beach, a dog adoption program that we've done in the city of Santa Ana and in Long Beach, wherein when we go to local shelters and help get dogs adopted using social media. We have a homeless makeover program, which we're implementing in Orange County currently. We've given countless donations to Chamber of Commerce. I've been heavily involved with local churches within San Diego County for both youth education and nonprofits. Chris Francie currently works with KidWorks in Santa Ana, and I work with the Vision Walk throughout California. We've also donated quite a bit of time and money to children's sports teams in Long Beach, Contra Costa County, San Diego, Santa Ana, and many more. There's one passion project that I've worked with behind my grandfather, who started with them about 30 years ago, which is called Freedom Ranch. It's a drug transition halfway house program in San Diego, which I volunteer time and money to. We not only offer resources such as, cash, toys, school supplies, but also volunteer hours, committing to at least 120 hours per year from our staff and their families. And we implement a program, which you've heard about, which is the 2% of gross revenue, which is going to be managed by Jovita, one employee usually from the sales team, and a minimum of 2 members of the community, which will be selected by Jovita. This provides transparency and accountability in our community benefits efforts within the city. Some of the things that we want to focus on, as stated, is the food bank program, which Jovita is already involved with. We would like to take on the Toys for Tots program, ensuring that we can partner with them and provide not only cash, but be a donation pickup site, offering discounts and specials for people for bringing in unused toys. We also plan on spending that money as the needs come up for things like the recently lost library, which was lost in a fire.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Garola?
If you commence business in the city, where do you see your business in 2 years and in 5 years in terms of economic development? This should take into account the possibility that there could be more competitors and permits granted in the city.
There's a major benefit to getting open early in an area without heavy concentration of cannabis businesses. It creates brand strength and recognition that survives as expansion happens. One thing that will make a big difference as more stores open is establishing a well-oiled delivery service. This helps us reach more customers as far as 60 miles outside of the city. So even in 2 to 5 years, when other cities permit retailers, including Porterville, we will have established ourselves not only locally, but also in surrounding cities with that delivery service. What this means further down the road is that our brand strength keeps us relevant and we can ourselves expand. Culture is not aimed to just have one store in the region, so as that inevitable expansion happens, we can open a store 20 miles away and both focus on that local customer base. Keep in mind that it's hard for people to travel far to shop. Customers want to stay near home and shop where it's convenient. So by building this brand strength locally and then expanding across the region, culture will be able to expand and still cater to the local residents' needs. In addition, we're a vertically integrated company with multiple cultivation permits, extraction permits, and distribution operations throughout the state. This maintains our competitive advantage by reducing the cost of products and allowing us to have value-driven products for low-cost categories, which combat the black market operators. We have low-cost products that are offered in a safe environment, that are compliance tested, they're clean, and especially for our medicinal patients, they can not spend more than what they have on the medicine that they need. Also, being a local owned business supported by a larger brand helps improve our buying power and brand recognition across the state. This allows us to maintain the competitiveness as more operators come online.
Thank you very much. Please identify what COVID measures your business will provide to protect the safety and health of your employees and customers. What control measures will be put in place to eliminate or reduce COVID exposures?
Yeah, so COVID has impacted every part of daily life for everybody, and the health and safety of our employees and customers are our top priority. Some measures we implement are posted signs that are California compliant. We encourage customers and employees, if sick, to stay home. We have reduced occupancy in the store and in the lobby. We've implemented new cleaning measures to ensure sanitary surfaces, especially in the high-touch environments. We do temperature checks before they can walk into the lobby for both employees and customers. We have hand sanitizing stations, social distancing markers in all areas where customers are queuing, plexiglass barriers at reception and the point of sale, and we offer curbside pickup for the Bureau of Cannabis Control emergency regulations, which were created for COVID-19.
Thank you very much. Your information has been appreciated. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for your time.
All right, we will now move on to number 4, element 7.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
Doing well, and yourself?
Wonderful. I hope you can see me. My name is Josh Black. I'm with Element 7. I've also got Robert DeVito and David Jones on the call. Element 7, why do we exist? We exist to provide holistic wellness solutions to cannabis's newest customers, conservative experimentalists, soccer moms, and elderly patients. As you can see on the main screen here, this is essentially an artist's drawing of what our store would look like at 181 North Main Street in Porterville. A very clean, holistic wellness lab, something that's focused on education, and we use a lot of natural woods, stones, and sort of soft materials to really sort of build an inviting retail environment for ourselves. Some of the things that we've got in this store that are a little different to some of the other operators tonight is we're very focused on data and analytics. There's a number of things that we have within the store that allow us to collect both narrative data, so data on who's shopping, how much they're spending, how often they come back, what they're buying, and what we call causative data, which is why are they buying certain products, how are they using those products, and why are they not buying other products. And data and analytics is really critical to running a retail business, and it's something that we're very focused on. And that's just experience from other industries that we've worked in. My background before joining Element 7, I was the marketing director for PepsiCo, running a large part of their business in Asia. My portfolio was over $1.8 billion of annual sales. Ran that business across 16 markets. Robert comes from the education industry, previously operated charter schools in Chicago. And David is a local, has lived in Porterville for over 60 years. He is as local as it gets. He is obviously a veteran as well. He served in the military many years in the U.S. Air Force. Martha is not on the call today. We were restricted to 3 people. Martha, again, is a veteran and served in the U.S. Marine Corps. Both of them are local. They're both the majority owners of the business in Porterville. If you could click through to the next slide. So this is what our store looks like. Essentially, as you can see, it's a very clean layout. We are focused on holistic wellness. The business is very much about education. Similar to culture, we have interactive displays within the store that allow people to interact with the products and be educated using data and technology. If you can go to the next slide. What I want to run through over the sort of next 13 minutes or so is essentially answering the 8 questions that were asked of us. So first of all, our business. You can see up there in the top left-hand corner, we are a holistic wellness business. And what that essentially means is we focus on not only physical health, but mental health, environmental health, social health, and we believe that cannabis in the right dosages and when used appropriately for both holistic and health purposes can create a balanced lifestyle. So we're very focused on complete wellness. We are vertically integrated, which allows us to produce very low-cost cannabis, which is important for fighting the illicit market. If you go on Weed Maps today, there's about 15 delivery businesses that serve Porterville, and at least half of those businesses are illicit, illegal, non-compliant, untaxed businesses, and that's bad for the consumer and bad for the city. So we're very focused on being a vertically integrated, holistic wellness business and fighting that illicit market. When we open our store in Fort Bragg in 10 days from now, 100% of our staff are locally hired. We're very focused on having a local voice and local footprint in all the markets we operate in. Moving over to our team, as I said earlier, we have 3 owners, Robert, David, and Martha. David and Martha are both very local to the Porterville community, have lived there all their lives, have 110 years of living and working in Porterville between them. Robert's based in the Bay and between Los Angeles, and we have a head office team of over 20 executives and staff that support the business. And that's really our approach, to have a very local business supported by a head office team. And we think that's important because at the end of the day, we're dealing with a drug product here defined by the DEA as a Schedule I drug, and therefore having back-end compliance, regulation, licensing, permitting, security, finance, legal resources is really critical. And we have leads for each of those aspects of our business. Looking at our advantage, I think the reason I put this slide up is, when we took over a store in Santa Ana about 10 or 11 months ago, that business was losing money. Over the last 10 months, we've dramatically improved revenue, we've improved operational efficiencies, we've improved our cost measures, our product ranging is significantly better than it was. We're using data and analytics to really serve products to customers that people are buying and need. So that allows us to optimize our ranging and the number of SKUs we've got in store. So I think we're a proven compliant partner. We're obviously generating a lot more tax revenue for the city. Another advantage of ours is we have banking. No one's mentioned tonight on the call about banking. We're one of the very few companies in the industry that have 2 FDIC regulated banks that will take our money. And that means we can cut checks to our staff. We're not paying them in cash, and we can issue checks to the city for all of our taxes. We're very focused on business with purpose. We have a very diverse workforce. We actually have more females in management than we have males. We've worked with the Economic Development Department at the EDD at the state level to do job fairs. We have a chief medical officer. We're very focused on data and analytics. We, like I think the last group from culture, have a relationship with the UFCW, which is really important to us. We have some really interesting partnerships as well. We were recently selected by Playboy Enterprises to be their California joint venture partner, and we beat 30 other companies in California to secure that. We also have a relationship with Whoopi Goldberg to build social equity programs, and Gary Payton, the former NBA player, is a partner of ours in Oakland. So we're really excited about that sort of stuff. Looking at qualifications, back sort of over to the left-hand side. So as we were asked to do, we focused on our local qualifications here. So David was born and raised in Porterville. He's lived there for 62 years, spent 2 decades in the US Air Force. He is a veteran and currently runs his own honey and commercial beekeeping business in Porterville. Martha was born and raised in Porterville, spent 21 years with the U.S. Marine Corps. At one point in her career, she was the highest ranking female in the U.S. Army's gunnery unit and was a battalion commander working for a 3-star general. So she has tremendous management and leadership experience and currently runs the family's olive business. As I said earlier, those two individuals are backed by a team out of San Francisco and Los Angeles that run the compliance, tax, technology, finance, and product of our business at a very centralized level. In terms of who we would bring into the team, when we opened Fort Bragg, 100% of our staff were locally hired from that community, and we would be looking to do the same in Porterville. So we'd hire a local general manager, some shift managers, as well as all of our bartenders and delivery drivers would be local. Looking at how we get to wages, we are very focused on living wages. In California, that means we start those wages at $19 an hour, which is 150% times the minimum wage. We're working with the EDD and UFCW to build apprenticeship programs. And as I said earlier, we've hosted job fairs with the EDD. Talking about financials, as we built out our dispensary in Fort Bragg, the building costs on that came out to $250,000. The first order for inventory was $152,000. So the TI and inventory for that came to $400,000. We see something very similar for Porterville, working capital at $300,000. We are very well backed financially by a family office in Southern California. We have a $20 million real estate investment group behind us in terms of a facility with them. So we've got plenty of money to buy real estate. And then we are also backed by a vertically integrated cannabis company out of Southern California and by a bank out of Wall Street that specializes in alternative investment. So we've got sufficient capital for both the real estate and also for operations. Quickly sort of talking about taxes, based on 10% of taxes, which is Measure R, we would be looking to, over the next 3 years, get close to almost $1.5 million of taxes for the city, which we think is, a tremendous contribution. We don't think our numbers are overstated. The average dispensary in California currently does about $3.6 to $3.8 million of gross sales. We think we could hit that in year one in Porterville and then build the business from there. We'll be focused on value and really serving customers through that data and analytics. Quickly talking about our approach, we are very focused on security and safety and had a very extensive plan in our application. We're also focused on education and engagement. People that work for us can become owners in the business through a stock incentive plan, which is something that is very different to other operators. Our staff, the average person in the industry is trained for 16 hours before they get on the retail floor. At Element 7, we have an 80-hour training program, which means our staff are 5 times more trained than other operators, which we think is a definite competitive advantage for us. We're also very focused on partnerships. As I said, we have a relationship with UFCW. We also work with Latinos for Cannabis and Indica, which is the National Diversity and Inclusion Cannabis Alliance. We've done some wonderful stuff with them. Talking about our understanding of the plan in Porterville, the community plan, was that the city's really looking for jobs, equity, safety, sustainability, and vibrancy. So what I mean by that is jobs. We want to hire 80% of our staff locally. Ideally, it would be 100% like Fort Bragg. Equity is being a fair employer and giving stock to our staff through that stock plan and creating careers. Safety is all about, running a safe, compliant, secure business. And when we talk about safety, we don't just look about the physical building. We look at pedestrian safety, parking, cash management, fire measures. Sustainability for us is all about, the design, the use of materials, sustainable long-term financials, and really being a long-term partner with the city. Vibrancy is about having a local voice, a local footprint, a consistent design, and really improving the streetscape. And hopefully those images I showed you earlier, got you excited about what the building can look like. Talking about community benefits, we've identified 3 local nonprofits to partner with: Helping Hands, the Family Crisis Center, and American Legion of Porterville. We are very interested in doing drug education with the local police force, doing community educational events. Our staff will commit to 40 hours of community benefits per staff member that's full-time, which will probably, with 8 staff members, generate over 300 hours of community service a year. We've identified 11 local suppliers that we want to partner with, and will be held accountable to everything that we promise by creating a community advisory board. And that board consists of Mary, who's lived for 44 years in Porterville, Roberto, who's with Ola Raza, who's lived there for 40 years, and Ronnie McCart, who's with the Unified School District. So in summary, in my sort of last 60 seconds, we want to create a business that has a very local voice with a headquarters oversight. We have over 50 years of retail experience, which we'll talk about in a little minute. We think we have the optimal downtown location, beautiful sort of building on Main Street. In Fort Bragg, we applied for a permit in January, and we're opening that business in October. So in 9 months, we've been able to apply and open a business, and we think that demonstrates.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to the second part of the interview.
I will be,
Councilmember Peñalosa.
sorry, thank you. So describe the applicants and local representatives' experience inside and outside the cannabis industry.
One moment for technical, 1 moment, please. Okay.
I'll start from the beginning. Describe the applicants and local representatives' experience inside and outside the cannabis industry. What is your experience in the cannabis industry, and how do you and will you stay current and in compliance with all cannabis business legal requirements and avoid the corruption issues that have arisen in other jurisdictions?
So we'll avoid it by being, clean, fair, honest, transparent, and operating with an open book. We have no interest in wearing striped suits for the rest of our lives, and we want to open a clean, fair business in Porterville. Talking about our experience, we have dispensaries operating in Santa Ana in Southern California, and we're opening our Fort Bragg store in 10 days from now, which we're really excited about. We are currently also building out dispensaries in Rio, Del, and Marina at the moment, which we will open this year. The experience we got from opening Fort Bragg has been tremendous. We believe that has really set us up to operate multiple dispensaries across the state at scale and with efficiency. We've built that very quickly. We've now got internal architects, an internal construction team that sit within our business as full-time employees. And that really allows us to get things moving quickly and open up those stores. Specific cannabis retail experience, our Chief Retail Officer, Mark Malatesta, has over 40 years of traditional big box retail experience with Macy's, Kohl's, Walmart, Target, and he's run cannabis dispensaries for 12 years. We also have Neil and Nick on the team that have run dispensaries in Colorado. Neil was voted Cannabis Executive of the Year in 2017, and Nick was actually voted Cannabis Dispensary Manager of the Year that same year. We've advised companies like FlowHub and even Metric on how to better integrate with POS systems that we use. So we think we're a leader in the industry when it comes to operations, compliance, finance, and getting these things open. And we're excited to come into Porterville. I'll sort of let Robert quickly jump in as well and tell you about his experience.
Yes, my name is Robert. I'm the CEO of the company. I was an academic scholarship student at DePaul University. After I got done with school, I wanted to make a difference in Chicago, so I partnered with the Chicago Public Schools on the first of its kind program to create revenue. We became partners on the inner city parking lots of Chicago. We did a pilot program with one parking lot, ended up being 26. Year one, we did $300,000 in profit for the schools. And by the year three, we're over 7 figures. From there, I started to realize the problem with this schools and charter schools in Chicago. So I ended up building a charter school, and it was an EQ-based school over IQ. It was a play-based school. I set forth to California about 6 years ago on the basis of education.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor.
Okay.
Okay, please describe your prior experience with community benefits programs and detail any proposed volunteer services, in-kind donations, and/or charitable donations.
Yeah, I'm going to talk for a couple of minutes here and then hold it over to David. Specifically talking about some of the stuff that Element 7 has done in the community previously. We actually partnered with the department in Fresno to run expungement clinics. That was the public defender's office. We ran a clinic in Fresno about 18 months ago and helped expunge over 200 records in a day. We've also contributed funds to the Big Red Church in Fresno for their food bank program. We've also donated funds to the Fireball athletic team. We've partnered with social equity applicants in Oakland, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. And as I said earlier, we're active partners with Indica and Latinos for Cannabis. Specifically in Porterville, before I hand it over to David, we will be sponsoring and providing support to Helping Hands, Family Crisis, the American Legion. As I said earlier, we had that community advisory board in place. David, if you can just quickly jump in and sort of talk about some of the stuff you've done in the past as well. You're going to have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yes, Josh, as you explained, I'm a lifelong resident here in Porterville. Returned here after a 20-year Air Force career and established a business operated out of Dukeport as a commercial beekeeper. My background is going back to the 40s. Grandfather and 4 uncles, the Eggman family, all established residents, beekeepers in the Terravella area. My first 5 years out here in the bee, from 2001, I was the president of our local bee association, South Valley Bee Association, where we brought small and large beekeepers together from both Kings, Tulare, and Kern counties with quarterly meetings, keep people up on the industry. But right now I'm looking forward with 10 years background in primarily on the medical side of cannabis and the remedies, primarily topicals. Look forward to working with Element 7 to bring some of the products here to the local valley, to our local community, and be on the ground floor of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Gurula?
Yes. If you commence business in the city, where do you see your business in 2 years and in 5 years in terms of economic development? This should take into account the possibility that there could be more competitors and permits granted in the city.
Yes, Councilmember Garola. I think where we'd like to see our business in 2 and 5 years is we want to be the leading holistic wellness dispensary in the county. And I think we can absolutely do that. And we'll achieve that through a couple of key things. Great customer service is obviously, critical in any business these days. Sustainable operations is really critical. The margins in cannabis are going to come down, and unfortunately, that's going to expose a lot of operators. The challenge that many people are going to have in California is a single store operation, in my opinion, is challenging from a sustainability point of view. 78% of all dispensaries in California right now are single store operations. By having multiple dispensaries under our umbrella, it allows us to have centralized resources like a chief compliance officer, a chief financial officer, a chief legal officer, a head of security, a head of licensing and permitting. And all those resources are really critical to running a sustainable, long-term advantage business. The other thing that's going to be really critical to us is having a deep understanding of the local customer. And that you only get through data and insights. And I've talked about a lot before, but data and insights drive every other retail industry, and not enough people put attention to it in cannabis. And we think that's a huge competitive advantage for Element 7. The other stuff that's going to create a sustainable business for us in the city is really having a local, well-trained team of people working with us. As I said earlier, we train our staff 5 times more than the industry average. We think that's really critical in a place like Porterville, because you've got to have a lot of customers coming into the store that maybe haven't tried cannabis before. And rather than rush them to the cash register and try and sell them a product, we want to spend time educating them and really sort of getting them to understand potency, the difference between flower and oil, what happens if you ingest too much. And that education piece in store and outside the store is going to be really, really critical. We want to be seen as a local business. We want to earn the respect and trust of everyone on this call, both our peers and our colleagues, as well as city staff, council members, and residents of Porterville. We want to help other local businesses in the county get out of the county. If there's great cultivators or manufacturers or distributors that are operating out of the county or out of the city, we want to help them expand into other parts of California where we have a business, whether that's up north or down in Southern California. So we're a collaborator. We don't see ourselves as competitors. We see ourselves as a collaborator, and it's an industry where, frankly, a lot more collaboration could happen. So we think if we do all of that stuff and we partner well with the city, that we will have a very sustainable business in Porterville, both financially and socially, and that we'll achieve our objective of becoming the leading wellness holistic dispensary in the county.
Thank you very much. Please identify what COVID measures your business will provide to protect the safety and health of your employees and customers. What control measures will be put in place to eliminate or reduce COVID exposures?
Yeah, it's obviously very troublesome times. I was actually living in Singapore when H1N1 came into Asia several years ago. So I'm bringing some experience from that sort of business and time into what we're doing today. We obviously follow very closely the state CDC and WHO guidelines. As you walk into Element 7 Porterville and the pandemic is still going on, the measures that you'll see, I'll sort of take you on a journey. First of all, you'll get to the front door and there'll be a stop sign announcing the measures that are happening. There'll be 6 feet line markers spread out to keep people socially distanced. There'll be a priority queue for medical and elderly patients. There'll be specific shopping times for those people as well. So, we may open up a little later for general customers and allow medical and elderly patients to get in first thing in the morning and get their products so they can get out without having to interact with people. All of our staff will have PPE equipment, which includes masks, face shields, gloves. There'll be paper order forms for customers to speed up the order so they can essentially, select products whilst they're waiting, which reduces their shopping time. As they walk into the dispensary, there'll be a temperature check and a hand sanitizer station. And we operate a 1 in, 1 out basis, so that as someone walks in, they can only walk in if someone's left. Rather than handing someone your ID card, they'll be required to hand it up so that we're reducing contact. We use a product called ProGuard, which is an industry-leading product for sanitizing. We also have an air filtration system inside the store, which ionizes the air. There's a disinfectant mat at the front of the store so that people aren't walking in stuff from the sidewalk. We wipe down surfaces every 2 hours on the hour, as well as after every customer transaction. There's no more sample small containers where people can sniff the flower. They're put away and they're out. We have one bartender per point of sale station so that people aren't sort of moving too much around the store. They're sticking to their station, so they're avoiding cross-contamination. We do operate curbside pickup in Santa Ana at the moment, and it's very successful. We also, in that store, have one customer for every 100 square feet. So again, we're trying to socially distance people. For deliveries, drivers are wearing latex gloves. Any product coming into the store from a distributor is sanitized. Really critical to this is employee training, making sure that staff know the procedures, they follow the procedures, and that the most important thing is that those procedures are consistent. Nobody loves inconsistency when it comes to this, so being consistent is really critical, and you only get that through staff training. We obviously encourage staff to stay at home if they're sick, and the other thing we do is provide a rapid test kit for staff once a week so that we can just double check that they're okay. So with all those measures in place, we believe that we can operate in a pandemic situation, and we think that we can keep customers and our staff safe whilst providing, a very high quality of customer service to our patients and customers. So I think that concludes our presentation and answers. And
Well, thank you very much.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe. Thank you.
All right, we will now move on to the fifth one, Tule River Economic Development Corporation.
Oh, good evening.
Good evening.
This has been quite the experience tonight. I don't think I was expecting so much professionalism. I was expecting a lot of locals, so this is a little different than I was expecting. Thank you, Council, for giving us the opportunity to present to you today. I know this has been a long process for you and the city employees, with a lot of time and effort put into making sure this is a fair process. I also appreciate the professionalism that has been exhibited throughout the RFP by the city staff. Although I know that you have allotted us 15 minutes to present, I believe in being concise and to the point. I would like to welcome any additional questions that you may have besides the three presented to us. I know you talked about a fourth one, so I guess those are the only questions will be asked. As you can see from this handout, I would like to summarize what the tribal difference is versus other qualified applicants, our safety and success, and the look of our dispensary both on the inside and out. The Tule River Tribe seeks to repurpose a historic building in downtown Porterville into a discreet, modern, and beautiful cannabis retail dispensary, utilizing state-of-the-art technology and genuine human connection to provide a safe and pleasant experience for our customers. We plan to offer a full range of the highest quality recreational cannabis products to adult users, including capsule tablets, concentrates, edibles, extracts, flower, kief, pre-roll flower, tinctures, and topicals. The tribe draws on its unparalleled experience in tribal gaming as a proven record of success in operating a safe and lucrative business in a highly regulated and socially sensitive industry like cannabis. Our goal is to generate revenue for the sole purpose of bringing meaningful benefits to the community. Our commitment to quality and the local community sets us apart from our competitors. we are unyielding in our promise to offer only the highest quality cannabis products sourced from reputable, local, and California licensed producers. The tribe, as the Porterville community's oldest resident, will invest 100% locally generated capital to build a 100% locally owned and operated business and reinvest 100% of the profits locally. Our ownership structure is easy. The tribe is the sole owner and the investor in the dispensary. There is nobody else. The dispensary will be managed by the tribe's world-class in-house economic development team, of which I am the CEO, leading the business administration and dispensary employees, as demonstrated in the city dispensary organizational chart in the middle there. Behind me, I have my administrative staff, which is our human resource, our finance, and our accounting staff. And then we will be hiring all local talent, like we always do in our local businesses. As far as our qualifications go, the tribe has more than 20 years of experience in tribal gaming, operates a casino that employs over 500 people, pays more than $1.3 million per year in state and local taxes. Over the last 3 years, has donated over $600,000 to both the city of Porterville and Tulare County. I have been responsible for and am responsible for generating over the last year over $15 million in revenues in our businesses, manage over $25 million in our assets, over 70 employees, and currently we donate 25% of all of our net income to social programs. I'm also a Porterville Chamber of Commerce board member. Our approach is we will use our experience in gaming to design a safe, profitable, and state-compliant dispensary that feels like any other local Porterville shop. Planned security upgrades will use smart design to incorporate state-of-the-art security and surveillance systems to appear natural. Entrances, exits, and purchases will be tightly controlled, but customers will be greeted warmly and treated like friends. Revenue. An initial investment of over $2 million for startup and operating expenses, including cost of goods sold, will generate approximately 1.4 in net income the first year. This will grow to a little over 1.5 in year 2 and 1.7 in year 3. Of that, the tribe will pay the city of Porterville roughly $370,000 in tax revenue in the first year, $415 in year 2, and $457 in year 3. Our 100% local values align with the city's objectives to bring new business to the city and ensure that revenues are reinvested here. We will use revenues to fund a neighborhood beautification project for community cleanups, art installations, and restoration of green spaces, a food bank project to end hunger in Porterville, and a housing project to build more homes on the reservation. If you go to the second slide, you can see the exterior of what you in the community know as the brick house. On the north side of the building, we are going to be opening up Landing 13, a new restaurant. On the south side of the building is where the dispensary is slated to go. It currently is unoccupied and has not been improved, so we need to improve that space once we get the license. You can see the location is just right there on Oak Avenue and Hawkett Street. The exterior is going to stay pretty much the same. We will clean it up, and we will just have our sign out there. We're trying to keep it discreet and not pull away from anything in the downtown area. On the third slide, you will see the interior of what we are planning on doing. We plan on having a nice, clean design, open spaces, some place where people can feel welcome and open. In these times, I guess you can make it so that people can socially distance themselves easier. But we plan on making it a nice customer experience where people can come in and feel welcome. In the middle, you can see the way that we have designed. People will go through the main entrance. There will be a waiting area and a restroom for anybody ADA compliant. They will check in. Once they are checked in, they will go into the queue, and then they will get brought into the display area. In the back, there's a secure area for shipments where only the people who have authorization can go through. There's limited access throughout all of the back of the house there. don't know what else to say about that, other than we have a secure vault as well, limited access, and has a man trap, so nobody can go in and out. And I think that is it as far as our presentation goes.
Thank you very much. We'll now go for the second part of the interview then. Councilmember Peñalosa.
Thank you, Mayor. Describe the applicants and local representatives' experience inside and outside the cannabis industry. What is your experience in the cannabis industry, and how do you and will you stay current and in compliance with all cannabis business legal requirements and avoid the corruption issues that have arisen in other jurisdictions?
Excellent question. Although I nor the tribe has experience in the cannabis industry, the tribe has over 20 years experience in tribal gaming. Tribal gaming is highly regulated industry, and the tribe self-regulates through their gaming commission. This gaming commission then gets audited by both the National Indian Gaming Commission as well as the state of California, and must prove that it is complying with all the regulations. This is very similar to the way that a state-licensed cannabis dispensary is run. The dispensary must self-regulate its staff and make sure it is following all the rules and regulations of the state. And then it then reports to the state through metrics and may be audited periodically. We also run 2 successful retail gas stations. I am confident that although we do not have experience in the cannabis industry, our vast experience in regulated industries and retail sales will keep us in compliance with state regulations as well as make us a profitable entity. I cannot say that I am familiar with corruption issues that have arisen in other jurisdictions because we have not been in the cannabis industry before. I know that there are companies that use local residents as a front in order to get a cannabis dispensary license. And then I also have read up that there has been corruption with the officials that have been put in charge of choosing the dispensary licensee. But besides those 2 instances, I'm not that familiar with any other form of corruption.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Reyes.
Thank you. Describe your prior experience with community benefits programs and detail any proposed volunteer services, in-kind donations, and/or charitable donations.
Yes, the tribe has always been very generous to the Porterville community financially. Over the past 3 years, as I said, alone, it has donated more than $600,000 to various local organizations. I would read them off, but that might take up my whole 3 minutes. I personally am a board member of the Porterville Chamber of Commerce, as well as help manage the congregation of a local religious organization. In addition to what the tribe currently gives financially, and in association with receiving and running our cannabis dispensary, we have proposed a couple of ways to get back to the community. Number 1 is through education. We would like to sponsor a bi-monthly seminar series entitled How to Talk to Your Kids About Cannabis. This would explain things like cannabis in the body, cannabis in the brain, history of cannabis as medicine and ceremony, among other things. Another one is a neighborhood beautification project. We would also like to partner with the city to volunteer and partially fund a beautification project to help the city continue to beautify Porterville. And a third one is a food bank project. We would like to continue to work with local organizations to work to end hunger altogether in our local community. In addition to all of these community benefits, all our excess profits end up back at the tribe to help fund their community programs. None of the profits will go towards enriching any one individual or company. It will go towards helping the Tule River Indian tribe. The excess profits that will come from this business are specifically earmarked to go towards housing. As previously indicated, the tribe has a housing shortage and is in dire need of more housing for its members. The city can feel good about giving this dispensary license to us, knowing that it will in turn be making the difference for families for generations to come.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Garola.
Yes, good evening. If you commence business in the city, where do you see your business in 2 years and in 5 years in terms of economic development? This should take into account the possibility that there could be more competitors and permits granted in the city.
The tribe is committed to economic development in Porterville. That's no secret. Arguably, the largest economic development project coming to Porterville currently is the Eagle Mountain Casino that is being funded through the tribe. This project alone will bring hundreds of jobs during construction, will employ more people once it is open than it currently employs, will increase tourism into the city and will therefore not only benefit the tribe, but will ultimately benefit the whole community. In addition to the casino, my job as CEO of Economic Development is to bring jobs and income to the community. That is my full job. We are opening a new restaurant soon, Landing 13. I hope you guys all come and eat there on your lunch breaks, at nights, every day, every other day, however you guys want to do it. And we will continue to reinvest into the community. There is no greater partner than the tribe to give the cannabis dispensary license. The tribe has always been there, will always be here, and no other individual can say that. Therefore, the tribe is more committed to the community and economic development than anyone else is.
Thank you very much. We'll go on to the next question. Please identify what COVID measures your business will provide to protect the safety and health of your employees and customers. What control measures will be put in place to eliminate or reduce COVID exposures?
Yeah, I can go off of experience with our stores, with Eagle Feather 1 and 2, as well as with the casino. We currently do employee temperature checks. At the casino, they do customer temperature checks. We have hand sanitizing stations throughout, plexiglass barriers. We have gloves and masks on all employees. We require masks on our customers. We have social distancing dots everywhere. We clean throughout the day. And then also in this business, I'm sure that we would limit the amount of customers that would be able to go into the store to be able to provide for that social distancing. Also, as part of this, we do have an air filtration system that has been proposed.
Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.
That concludes that one, and we'll move on to our number 6, which is Bloom Farms. Please come forward.
Good evening. I'd like to say, as just watching the presentations, that most of the local citizens were bought out by big business. I didn't do that. So let me start. First of all, I'd like to say good evening. I would like to thank God, the city manager, vice mayor, and the city and the manager and city staff for this opportunity and all of your hard work on this project. I am the owner of Bloom Farms. A little bit about me: my grandparents, mother, and my father, and all native in Porterville. I was born and raised in Porterville. When I was 10 years old, I sold newspapers for the Porterville Recorder in downtown Porterville. That was in the 70s. I'm a married man. I have 9 children and raised all of them in Porterville, all productive adults. I own and operate 3 companies now for 30-plus years. Some of the things we've done in Porterville: AA meetings, donations at the Par Center, the homeless programs, youth baseball, youth football, Porterville Mission. We've donated 14 free roofs to senior citizens in need. I think I'm very capable of running and operating this business in a professional and reputable manner. I can't hardly talk in this thing. I have 15 years of medical cannabis knowledge. Porterville is my hometown. It's where I'll stay. My family and I love Porterville and the community, and we are excited to see it grow. I'm a proud citizen of Porterville. The community and the citizens have always supported my businesses, making my businesses successful. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Maria Morero. Pardon me.
Hello, my name is Maria Morero. I was born in Hanford and raised here in Porterville. My parents came to Porterville in 1960 when I was only months old. I graduated from Menachie High School. I attended Porterville PC. I gave birth to my first 2 children here. When I was 21, I was given the opportunity to attend the police academy by Porterville Chief of Police. After retiring from Santa Clara County Sheriff's Department, I moved back to Tulare County in 2001. I currently reside here in Porterville. Today, I'm blessed to be in business with my nephew, Darren Garrett, And now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Joanna Martinez as our executive for Bloom Farms Incorporated.
Good evening, Mayor Flores, Vice Mayor Reyes, Council Members Peñalosa, Gurello, and Stowe. My name is Dr. Joanna Martinez, and I am a clinical and forensic psychologist and an organizational consultant. I have been hired on by Mr. Garrett to serve in the executive director position for Bloom Farms Incorporated. Inclusive to this position, I am the executive vice president to Porterville Community Blooms, the nonprofit organization established by Celeste Garrett. Now, we are here before you today petitioning for one of the cannabis commercial business operators permit as Bloom Farms Incorporated. Bloom Farms Incorporated is an established C corporation. As the applicant, Bloom Farms will maintain Mr. Garrett as the CEO and sole owner of the dispensary. Excuse me. He will further serve as the capacity of the community relations liaison. As both residents, Mr. Garrett and Ms. Marrero, have submitted the permit application for the cannabis dispensary, Darren is listed as the owner and majority principal, and Ms. Marrero is listed as a primary principal for her 10% equitable investment stake in the dispensary. So who is Bloom Farms Incorporated? Aside the C Corporation, we as a brand are founded with the fundamental pillars consisting of community, leadership, integrity, diversity, and respect. Respect for our customers, our community, and our employees. Now, the theme for us is integrity. We will be utilizing integrity in any aspect and every aspect of our company. We feel that by providing transparency, accountability, and feedback from our customers, our employees, and community stakeholders, that we will bring an overall effect of working with integrity to a level of sustainability and one of transparency. Now, our brand qualities. One of the main brand qualities setting us aside from everyone else is uniqueness. Uniqueness in community outreach, design, and interactive technology. Now, unlike any other dispensary in the surrounding area, we will be displaying a clone room within our facility. Now, this clone room will have a 180-degree window view of the room and all of the plants that are in there. With this view, it will allow an interactive monitor outside of the room, and it'll be one of the 4 monitors that we have throughout the dispensary. Now, these monitors will allow the customer to gain additional information, not only on the plant or the name of the plant, but the strain, what properties it holds. They'll even be able to go further to be able to utilize how it works for individuals with depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, psychosis, and many others. Now, one of the other aspects of uniqueness for us is our building was originally built in 1868. It is located on Main Street and corner of Mill. Originally used as the Bank of Russia and then became Bank of America. So for us, an integrative aspect of it is that we have 3 bank vaults within our facility. Changing over those doors, utilizing original ones, we have not a plain room that falls within the guidelines of the BDC with a door. For us, we actually have old, sturdy, steel-built safe doors. Another aspect of uniqueness for us is in doing multiple research, since I am a scientist, an aspect of things is our key concept, what do you recommend? Within the cannabis industry, as any other retail business, what do you recommend is the #1 question asked by every single customer that walks in a store. Because of such, we will be offering a 1-month training to all of our staff. This is because it takes on a new meaning, not just on the basis of retail sales, cannabis, medical, what it has to offer as a whole, but also on the basis of professionalism, code of conduct, compliance, and security. Now, running a cannabis business often requires someone to be a jack of all trades, innovative, ambitious, and able to take initiative. This is what's needed within the cannabis industry. Now, having the combined working of over 52 years of retail sales experience, all of our proposed executives and managers are local residents. With their developed rapport skills and business relations, our team will have the ability to build a strong relationships and stakeholders. Now, Ms. Marrero will be serving as our general manager. She has over 20 years of correctional experience, both within corrections, homeland security, and asset protections. So she will be tasked with overseeing the day-to-day activities with the heavy integration and responsibility of compliance level overview. With her extensive background in corrections, it will give Bloom Farms a distinct advantage of asset protection and a detailed approach to compliance. Now, our operations manager will be Michaela Martinez. Michaela is a passionate and results-driven individual, exerting proven leadership skills, critical thinking, effective time management, sales and recruiting, and training. Michaela possesses 16 years of retail sales management and customer service experience, with 10 of those years as a supervisor and managerial positions. She further has 5 years experience overseeing 5 medical clinics. This gives us an opportunity to train our staff on a medical standpoint and with me on a mental health standpoint as to what cannabis not only does in a negative manner, but what it can do in a positive stance. Now, our proposed inventory control and merchandising manager would be Mr. Taha Saleh, who is a passionate and results-driven, successful entrepreneur. He owns and operates a thriving chain of convenience and gasoline stores. For over 19 years of experience in operation, he has ran 12 years in managing and operating the day-to-day functions of his business. Now, one of the things for compliance for us is we are going to have a dedicated supervisor compliance position. Mr. Duran is a successful entrepreneur owning his own business. In this capacity, he functions with daily operations of his business, supervising and training new staff. He has knowledge in the daily business reporting and business productivity. One of the key points with him is that he also has over 15 years experience in casino work, where this allows him to establish both customer and individual behavior and suspicious activity. So then there's me. I am a psychologist. I hold a doctorate degree in both clinical and forensic psychology. I have 2 master's degrees, one of them in organizational development, allowing me to be an organizational consultant. Let's see, I studied internationally in Rome, where I studied business in Rome. Took some time in Milan for internship with the business aspect of things. My last position, I was a mental health director where I oversaw all 5 of Kern County, Kern County Sheriff's detention facilities. I oversaw the mental health program and supervised over 65 staff. This consisted of doctors, nurses, line workers, and mental health providers. I've developed and implemented multiple programs, both in and out of custody, both for community services and others for just organizational aspects. Now, in order to operate a safe and successful business, we will be taking on a modern, realistic business plan with contingencies built in. We will then integrate, sorry, I got too hot. We will then integrate a defined set of goals and objectives that are both tangible and measurable in criteria. Now, with having measurable criteria and tangible goals and objectives, we will be able to navigate any change that comes up within the cannabis business, because it's often something that happens, whether it's a change in compliance or whether it's a change within the BBC or state compliance rules. For funding, a bank account will be established with Dama Financial, which is an FDI-insured cannabis banking institute. As part of Dama Financial's services, They offer armed security transport for any cash through the dispensary. By acquiring these services, we will limit the probability of theft and provide a higher level of security from not only Bloom Farms Incorporated, but for our employees, our consumers, the surrounding areas, and the city as a whole. We will further be providing 2 on-site security at all times within our facility during office open hours. Off hours, we will be having a patrolled security throughout the night during our off hours. Now, in offering delivery from commencement of business, our delivery vehicles will be equipped with bolt-down boxes inside of all of the vehicles that we would utilize. This offers safe transport for all of the product. It ensures that for not only compliance issues, but any type of diversion or theft. In addition to such, because delivery services is something that's offered with online sales, it will ensure that no cash transactions or no transactions are occurred during the process of delivery. Now, in an effort to mitigate risk, we have developed a detailed operating procedure which will be implemented along with the comprehensive operations manual, which will guide every aspect of the day-to-day functions of our business. Now, with our branding goals and objectives, we will be setting our foundation for business growth. With a total investment of $1.2 million and startup cost of $500,000, that leaves us over $600,000, $500,000 in line of credit, and additional, Mr. Garrett has an additional $5 million in assets. With this, for years 1 through 3, we have a projection of $4.3 million with a growth rate of 17.3% per year for the first 3 years, which generates a net income of $1.1 million. Now, in a direct and indirect social impact for the city, we anticipate creating more than 35 jobs within the first 3 years, and that's over $2 million in salaries, $320,000 in Social Security taxes, $72,000 in Medicare taxes per year. For taxes, both federal, state, and city, for years 1 through 3, we anticipate at over $689,000 yearly.
Thank you. We'll now go into part 2 of the interview. Councilmember Peñalosa.
Thank you, Mayor. Describe the applicants and local representatives' experience inside and outside the cannabis industry. What is your experience in the cannabis industry, and how do you and will you stay current and in compliance with all cannabis business legal requirements and avoid the corruption issues that have arisen in other jurisdictions?
Mr. Garrett has owned and operated his commercial and residential roofing company for over 32 years. He further owns 2 sister companies with the Class A and Class B in general construction, both in California and Nevada. He has 15 years of medical marijuana knowledge. Ms. Marrero is a retired law enforcement officer, having served as a correctional officer for over 20 years. She has an extensive knowledge base of the cannabis industry, having the opportunity of learning for her 2 sons. One is an award-winning cultivator within the cannabis industry, and her second son knows cannabis extraction, having studied in Canada. Together, they've continued to expand their knowledge in the industry by means of research, having taken cannabis management and operation courses, including cannabis dispensary regulations and compliance, operations of a cannabis dispensary, operations of cannabis delivery services, employee relations, neighborhood benefits, and robbery awareness. For myself, I have collective knowledge base of the cannabis industry, where I've often visited and toured various cannabis facilities up through the Pacific Northwest in an organizational capacity. Now, having worked directly with state compliance, a combination of Ms. Marrero, myself, and Ms. Martinez, our compliance supervisor, in addition, we will be implemented a multifaceted approach to compliance with daily, weekly, monthly report auditing to be conducting. I will work directly with our compliance officer to ensure the auditing is complete. In addition, I will be overseeing all of the aspects pertaining to any signature that requires for any type of cash handling, cannabis goods, and any other form of auditing. Now, with our personnel, regardless of position they hold, they will given in their book abide by properly following cash handling procedures, maintain an understanding of and follow HIPAA regulations, maintain an understanding of and follow state program regulations, professionalism, code of conduct, and ethical standards. Now, with our cash handling, we will be implementing a 3-step verification system to ensure all counts are the way they're supposed to be, and it leaves no room for discrepancy or corruption.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Reyes?
Thank you. Describe your prior experience with community benefits programs and detail any proposed volunteer services, in-kind donations, and/or charitable donations.
Prior to the establishment of Porterville Community Blooms, Darren and his wife Celeste have had a long-standing tradition of donating to the city of Porterville, its community services, neighborhood cleanup, community restoration, all through Jack's Roofing and Commercial Roofing Company. They have coached youth sports, fed the homeless on a bi-yearly basis. They work with the PAR Center, which for the last 4 years, they pay for 2 whole residency for 2 individuals per year for the last 4 years. In addition, they have paid the first 2 years of tuition for 2 individuals every single year. Now, for myself, I've developed, written, and implemented community programs. I've worked in a juvenile facility, both in Fresno, Kern, and Madera County, where I've implemented transition programs for the youth coming out of the facilities and back into the community, allowing them not to get back into gangs, and finding alternatives for them to partake in rather than the troublesome aspects after school. Currently, my wife and I, we volunteer for runaway LGBTQ youths in Tulare County who have been forced to leave their homes. Our managers have experience volunteering through community and organizations and through their church. Now, proposed volunteer services, granted right now none can occur due to the COVID pandemic, but once we get our lives back to the normalcy of things, we want to be able to host 50 nights for the nursing home. We want to be able to do summer moving nights, drive-in style for the families. We want to be able to do food cook-offs in downtown area and start to revitalize and regenerate flow into the downtown area. We want to be able to provide at-risk youth services and transitional community services for the juveniles that are going to be coming out of the facilities. Now, the events that Porterville Community Blooms puts on, we as a dispensary will provide all the volunteers. Paid services for them, but it provides volunteer services for the nonprofit that serves the community of Porterville. We will also be responsible for the donations, any commodities and merchandising specific to that specific event being held. We want to do homeless basic needs drives where we collect blankets, jackets, shampoo, deodorant, any winter apparel that a homeless individual will require. We also want to be able to provide donations to the Women's Battered Shelter and give them the necessities that the women and the children need. We also want to be able to provide community education. There's going to be scrutiny and reluctancy for many of the community members for cannabis within the city. Now, providing education, both for those purposes, but as well for the basis of medical ailments and mental health aspects, we would like to pair up with various partnerships and various business in the city to be able to put those on. Now, in fighting food insecurity, we have started through Porterville Community Blooms, the Bloom Pantry. It's one where we collect food, and any individual who has food shortages through the months is able to contact us. And we set up delivery, or if they want to meet us to pick food up, we set up a basket depending on how much food they require and be able to give them the food for the month should they have any shortages. Especially right now with the COVID, it's been an ongoing thing. One of the other factors that currently Porterville Community Blooms has completed is, or has actually been working on since the fire with the library here in Porterville. I've been working with the national publishing houses throughout the nation where in getting books for when the library opens to be able to provide additional books. Many of them, due to COVID, will be able to release them once the library gets closer to being completed. But for some, such as the Penguin Publishing House and the Office of J.K. Rowling, have sent books for us already to be able to provide to the library.
Thank you. Councilmember Gurrola.
If you commence business in the city, where do you see your business in 2 years, in 5 years in terms of economic development? This should take into account the possibility that there could be more competitors and permits granted in the city.
In 2019, California represented 24% of legal cannabis sales in the United States, while Colorado, Oregon, and Washington represented 30% combined. Figuratively speaking, California sold $2.5 billion in legal cannabis products, while 1.5 was to Colorado, 1 billion to Washington, and 0.6 to Oregon. So how does this translate over to the city of Porterville? As with every business, competition is a basis that fuels supply and demand. Driven by supply and demand, new market openings for cannabis dispensary gives its customers more of a convenience. In turn, that convenience leads to the customers staying within their defined areas. We believe that as a business with an upper competitive dynamic centered around the principles of customer service and community involvement, the branding of Bloom Farms will play a significant role in the continued growth and future of Porterville. Additionally, growth windows for Bloom Farms Incorporated within the city of Porterville includes the internal expansion of our business and business premises in additional phases. We would seek at a later time, if granted by the city, Phase 2 cannabis cultivation to be integrated into our third floor building. The upper floor of our building is an additional 3,800 compared to our first 3,800 on our first floor. We would also do a Phase 3 of product and merchandising, which would be integrated in our basement level, where the basement is an additional 3,000 square feet. The proposed development of these ventures will create unique paths of rapid growth and profitability, not just for Bloom Farms, but more so on the basis to where the revenue, both in a direct and indirect path, will be created for the city of Porterville as well as its community members. Now, an advantageous approach or advantage for us, should the city grant additional permits, would be that we would have solidified ourselves as a brand specific to Porterville and its surrounding areas within those 2 to 5 year timeframe. So by defining our business, learning about our customer base, working to improve the customer experience, and continually testing and measuring new strategies, we will build a strong base for our business that will help it not only stand out from the competition, but also grow in the industry itself.
Thank you very much. All right. Please identify what COVID measures your business will provide to protect the safety and health of your employees and customers. What control measures will be put in place to eliminate or reduce COVID exposures?
As written within our proposal, I was able to include some of the COVID changes because when we submitted the applications or the proposal the second time, COVID was already around. So with that in mind, we would install floor markers within our building. The design of our building is set to have a separate entrance from exit. By doing so, this allows far less interaction between clients coming in and out. An additional aspect is that throughout the business, we will have hand sanitizers at every location. We will further be what's called, I'm used to in retail business, clean and bright, following the CDC guidelines, which is essentially cleaning every hour from start to finish, from when the business opens to when it ends, and then a deep clean after business hours. We will further be utilizing an area specifically off to a side to make it much easier so the clients that want to do pickup but already ordered online, they'll be able to go up to that area and grab the information. Now, also with delivery and online sales, the delivery aspect provides not only for the COVID issue that we're facing right now, but it also provides for individuals who can't leave their homes because they need to pick up medication, but they're unable to leave the homes. So that's going to be essentially a twofold aspect for us. We're also going to be doing, I have everything written, I'm sorry, PPE, so masks. Masks will be given at the very front. Customers will not be allowed into the facility without any masks. PPE will be provided to them should they want to continue to stay, but not have a mask for themselves.
Thank you very much. You were patiently waiting, and that is appreciated. Thank you so much.
Too nervous when I went.
You may have, but thank you for your
Thank you.
presentation. All right, council. We are going to go for an adjournment, and we will be submitting our information to legal counsel electronically. And it is 8:32. We will adjourn the meeting.